had you guys come out of the library yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right, so you guys are all still down.
The last thing that happened was Marlo got, like, blown into a bookshelf from the vision.
Jeez.
That's right. Yeah, she dozed off, had a vision, got blasted out of her chair. They didn't see what happened, but she flew across the room, smashed into a big pile of books, and then that's when the vision of a Keurig holding back the Bayhue said that he was coming for her. And that literally is kind of where we left off. All right, yeah. So, Helion, Radovan, and Beecham is not here, is he? Beecham is at the tavern still. Okay, so you witnessed that.
Radovan's in another part of the library, but he hears something.
Oh, so. You'll hear a loud crash and probably a gasp. And
Marlo.
several of the elder dwarves in the library suddenly come charging down the stairs into the library floor, and they're kind of like, "What the bloody hell is going on?"
Marlo, are you okay?
Did you see that?
See what? The books?
Was it a book?
What?
I'm just really confused right now, so like I'm not making any sense.
I'm gonna appear. You're gonna see my head over the sea of dwarves that are investigating from behind.
Pulling Marlo up by her arm. Let's get out of here. I think you've been in here too long.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start leading her out. Radovan, this way.
I'm gonna excuse my way through the dwarf crowd.
Okay.
And just leave with exit the library.
All right, so you kind of exit with a very bewildered and puzzled-looking Marlo. She doesn't seem physically injured by her sudden encounter with the back of a bookshelf, but you guys can definitely tell there's something out of sorts about her for sure.
How about some fresh air? Do you want to leave the city for a while? Go outside?
I don't know.
Sit in some grass?
Grass? For the middle of winter, Kia.
Radovan, she likes grass. Maybe there's grass somewhere. These dwarves are genius.
Oh, what a fucking doobie. All right, let's go.
Right. Okay, so you emerge out from below the Undercity into the cold, fresh air of the streets of Cairnemoore. And, as you kind of walk up the large stone steps and get to the top, the two dwarven guards kind of look as they see Kia kind of helping Marlo along, and they're looking at her rather puzzled. And one of them finally is like, "Is she alright?"
We're about to find out. Marlo, against the wall, please. Let me check you out.
Oh God.
So Marlo gets frisked.
No, I want to invest. I want to investigate her. That sounds so wrong.
Oh
my God.
See if she's physically injured. You want to do a heal check?
Yeah, I'll do a heal check.
Right.
Skip over all the awkwardness that I just said.
Okay, give me a heal check then. Okay. You kind of give her the once-over, check her head, look at her back, check all the whatever. There's clearly no... She maybe has got a small scratch on her upper right shoulder where she scraped along the side of a piece of wood on the bookshelf itself, but it's nothing more than very light, superficial.
So, whatever happens, it was in your head, because...
He's in my head. Radovan, he's in my head.
Ooh.
No, the man who killed Saris, he's in my head.
Just like a dream?
No.
Like a vision, like the visions.
Yes, he's the one that's been giving them to me.
So I'm actually going to reach into my pouch and extract the cocaine.
Wait, what? Oh,
the magic crack.
Oh, that's the stuff. Oh, you're talking about the stuff that you bought from Captain Vance?
Yes.
The mind powder that she referred to?
The mind powder.
Okay.
I'm going to be like, Is he like right now in your head? Because there are ways to temper that.
No. Do you know what a Baihu is?
What?
Can I do a roll to see if I know what that is?
You can do a roll. You couldn't use local because it's Fujinami stuff, so you couldn't use local.
Oh.
You can make a roll, but you're gonna have to roll it on. 1 second, let me just pull this up here. Okay. To go here. All right. So. Really, the only thing that you could possibly use it on, which is knowledge arcane. So give me a knowledge arcane roll. I'm going to tell you this much: it's going to have to be bloody high.
Here it comes, guys.
First 20. Let's go.
Here it is. Oh.
25.
Almost.
Okay,
Well, it's
so
not bad.
no, you don't. You have not heard the term Baihu. So carry on, Marlo.
Okay.
So I'm
What?
just gonna. Yeah. What? No.
In the library, there was a book that was written by somebody who's been to my homeland, and it mentioned the blue tiger thing
Oh.
that I've been
Baihu?
seeing. Yes,
So
they're not good. They mean something bad's gonna happen.
So you found a book that gave you an answer, and then you had another vision, and the Baihu's in your head, or the guy, or both.
Both. He's got a pet Baihu. It's weird.
So he's.
He said
So-
he's coming for me.
Oh shit.
Oh shit! All right. So, look, we were traveling, and we were set upon by some tigers. We fended for our lives. We killed the tigers, and then Kia and I ran into this Baihu, and he said that we had broken some law and should pay, even though
Spoke to a Baihu?
No, the tiger that, remember, who threatened our lives and blasted us almost into oblivion before that sparkly person spoke?
Have you been using the powder?
I know what he's talking about, Marlo. It was back in the forest.
Yeah, and then we got punished and put on that frozen lake with that horse sea thing.
The horse in
So
the water.
Gord-
Marlo?
Do they actually look like the things that we fought?
Well, you fought 2 large white tigers, but you fought. You never fought it. If you remember, it like you walked into something invisible, and it materialized in front of you. And before you guys had a chance to do so, it basically roared and hit you with like this mega sonic blast that did a load of damage.
Marlo did punch it, actually, for like 10
Actually,
damage.
you did punch it, and then after that, a strange.
Oh, that's when we got moved, and it was
Right.
saying that
'Cause the
we were
strange
under
glowing
her
light
charge or
appeared
whatever.
and basically said, no, they're in my charge, because there was a woman's voice that said, no, they are currently under my protection, you cannot have them yet.
Oh
And
god.
then it said something along the lines of, but you had committed a crime, and she said, if that's what you're worried about, I will make sure that they are punished. And then the next thing you know, you were teleported on that damn island with all that crap going on around you. So that is basically, yes, now you put 2 and 2 together, that is what you have been kind of seeing. Initially, it wouldn't have made any sense because it was so sudden and it was more just huge, big, glowing blue eyes. But now you actually saw it in its entirety. That is what it was, yes.
Oh, okay, so I guess I'm going to relate that to Kia and Radovan. It's not the ones that we killed, it's the one that I punched in the face before we got
What
moved.
kind of crime did we commit?
Against nature? I don't know. I mean, we killed its mates. That's what I assumed the crime was. But if
A
this
Keurig
thing,
doesn't have anything to do with that.
but it doesn't make sense because if this thing is being controlled by him, why does he need an excuse to attack us? Why did he attack us right then and there?
But he's not after you, he's after me. He doesn't even know you.
I seem to recall getting blasted almost twice with that sonic frost breath that almost killed
It was
Kia.
an AoE attack, though. So
But it
wasn't
it
aimed
was
at you specifically, but you did get hit by it for sure.
right, but it was targeting. It was in our direction, not Marlowe's direction, which is what
Right.
That's what I'm bringing up right now, just so you guys know.
That's even worse. If he knows that you're allied with me, then that means he's watching me.
I'm gonna offer the vial of magic powder again. Are you sure you don't want this? Because I mean,
Well,
if you
there's
think
not
it's
a
in
lot
your
of it,
mind,
Redden. What if, when it runs out, we're just stalling for time now?
true. I mean, I do. Well, take one just in case, like if it feels pertinent.
What do I
Please.
do with it?
Well, nothing yet.
But if it comes down to it,
Shove it up your
fingernail.
nose. Shove it up your nose and sniff.
Yeah. So, why don't we bring him? Well, tell him to come. Let's fight him. All three of us.
We aren't ready for that.
Why not?
He doesn't fight like a normal monk.
Well, tell us so we can prepare ourselves.
Think of your powers, Kia, but much stronger and much darker. And then give them to me. Only a
Thanks.
much stronger me.
But there's three of us and conceivably two of him, right? Him and the tiger thing.
I'm not
Yeah.
worried about the tiger.
I'm worried about the tiger. It almost killed Kia. I'm gonna look sheepishly
Everything
at Kia.
almost-
Kia.
Yeah, it hit
Everything
pretty
almost
bloody
kills
hard,
me,
that was for
Randovan.
sure.
I mean, there are ways to mitigate what it did to us that I have been preparing daily since in case we re-encountered him. I mean, energy protection and that kind of stuff.
He dabbles in stuff that's forbidden in Fujinami. For good reason.
So he's the one committing a crime.
Crime's not a good enough word for what he does.
Okay, so what do you propose we do, Marlo?
I don't know.
I mean, it seems like this is another Rorschach moment, I'm gonna look again at Kia, kind of like I'm asking for approval, even though I'm kind of sheepish about it. Like I'm like,
What?
Rorschach.
Rorschach. Oh, you mean
The ogre,
oh.
So, I mean, if it's gonna happen eventually, we're gonna have to deal with it, and I would rather not deal with it if it's compromising what we're trying to do here,
Trust me, if this had been about 3 to 4 years ago, I would be agreeing with you right now. But there's no way we're ready to face him.
What if we are? I mean, we've grown considerably since then.
Me too, and that's why I'm saying we're not ready.
But having him just come to us and sneak up on us, be better if
It's
we found...
something he would do. Maybe he knows we're not ready, and that's why he's coming for me now.
Do you have any items that might be familiar to him? Or that was his? I don't know.
Has something
long
of
shot.
his. No.
I mean, it's just a long shot question. Just
He didn't live in the same place that I did. He was exiled. He lived pretty far outside the temple.
I mean, if we can find out where he is, we could at least know about the timeline that if you don't think we're ready, that he would arrive. Although I'd honestly rather know when we're going to meet him is not, so we can prepare properly.
Marlo,
I didn't think he would come after me here. I didn't think he would come after me at all.
how often do you see these visions? Is it every day?
Every night. That's the first time I've had one in the middle of the day.
Well, next time you have one, why don't you try to look at the background? Maybe you can see something familiar or find out
Well,
where
they
he
happen
is.
kind of unexpectedly and pretty quickly, but I mean, I guess I could try.
Yeah, I mean, this one lasted all of about 3 seconds. The ones she's had before weren't even lasting much more than an exposure. It was more like a flash, and that was it, gone.
Okay. I have... So, something about this vision affected you physically here, right? I mean, you got... Apparently you crashed into a bookshelf or a bunch of books. I didn't see it, but I heard it. It was quite loud.
He dabbles in really strong, messed up stuff.
So, I have I have a request. Since if you keep seeing these visions and they're visceral and real feeling, maybe try to grab something next time. You know, like yank a fucking whisker or a tuft of hair. Just the next time that thing roars in your face, maybe try to grab it. Just for a second.
Kind of overestimating my reflexes. I mean, I'm badass, but
Modest, too.
But if you do that and are successful at grabbing
Yoda,
it,
thanks for that 21 months. Appreciate it, dude. Spam your pants off and hit the hype.
there are ways
Thanks, Oni.
that I have to possibly ascertain where they are, you know? Maybe not reliable, but it's worth a shot. It's just, I mean, if you're having these visions anyway, let's try to turn it to our benefit. And if you
have
don't
you
want
ever
to...
heard of any kind of magic where people can manifest stuff like that? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's nowhere near us.
Kia, give me an...
Sure.
Not on... Because the arcane knowledge check that you just had was basically on the Bayou. Give me another one.
Okay.
With a
19.
19. Okay. You may have heard, probably nothing more than rumor, nothing substantiated, but the little parts that you know or have even ever known about Fujiname. Being a sorceress, being that arcane is an interest to you, you might have heard or read in occasional bypassing scripts and stuff that in Fujinami, magic is very black and white, literally. Like, magic is either considered good or bad. There is no in between. In Arconis and around here, it's kind of magic is what you do with it, right? But allegedly in Fujinami, you either practice white magic or Fujinamian black magic, which is, it comes from a very, very dark place, and the more you mess with it, the more corrupt you become. And there are no good practitioners. In fact, typically, anybody that you could consider practicing white magic will never touch anything, Fujinami and black magic related, because they know once it gets into you, it doesn't leave, and it's like a cancer that will slowly eat you alive every time you tap into it. So you don't know the sort of extents that this stuff can go to, but you do know that it does nothing good. It has no good, it has no good powers. Everything it does is from a very dark and vile substance. It is all aimed at doing selfish, corrupt, and evil things.
Okay. So he practices black magic.
If there were a color darker than black, I'd call it that.
Do you know how long he's been doing it for?
Before I was born, a current was never... He's been exiled for a long time. But he seemed to have some sort of history with Saris, but Saris would never talk about it.
Alright. I'll kind of explain exactly what you told me, Gore, at that point about the black magic and the white magic and how it corrupts you more and more.
Yeah,
So
Saris told me not to mess with magic, like at all. He said it was better to tap into what you are rather than to ask others to turn you into something you're not. I don't know. He didn't like magic.
I'm sorry. This is all. I've never really heard of magic being described in this way. I mean, there's necromancy, right? Manipulating negative energies and stuff to your will, but a lot of spells that even I have cast to bring you back, Marlo, is technically necromancy. I mean,
I don't think it's necromancy, Radovan. I think it's different over there.
Well, with necromancy, you're not really bringing back the person's soul, are you?
Well, I did with you.
I know, but
with
that's
your
why it's
permission,
not.
of course.
It's not necromancy then.
Technically, Coin considered it, but okay. I mean, so I can only think logically about this. Try to do something the next time you have one of these visions to see if you can have an effect. Granted, I don't want, if you really are dead set against not fighting this or not dealing with the situation at this point in time, I understand. So you don't want to provoke, right?
Well, I mean, I don't want to just sit there and let him do whatever he's trying to do to me, but I think it would be foolish to actively pursue him.
But we should still, if we can get a sense of where they are in relation to us, we can get a sense of if they do come to us, we will be more prepared, you know?
He doesn't fight fair.
Well, I mean, I don't.
People we encountered do.
I don't think really fair is accurate for the fights that we've had. I mean, do you think we fought fair at all points in time, Marlo?
What do you mean?
Well, like, I cast spells to make myself stronger, or Kia's cast spells to give us more, more vigor and health, right? I've cast spells so we can prevent against fear and, other effects. Is that fair? Or not fair, in your eyes?
I try not to think about that.
That's so philosophical. We don't need to.
Well, no, it kind of
Deep, man.
what is fair in a battle where death is the possibility?
Yeah, Marlo, what do you mean by he doesn't fight fair? What do you know?
Well, it was supposed to be an honorable fight between him and Saris, and Saris knew he wouldn't fight fair.
So
that
then,
he would use underhanded tactics.
so by
But
that,
under the guise of being fair.
so by that definition, if he went in there knowing that his opponent would not be honorable, doesn't that mean that he was not dishonorable? And I'm gonna give Marlo this kind of like head tilt, sympathetic look. Like,
Saris was honorable.
no,
He's
I
always
understand that. But if he went into a fight with someone he knew was not going to be honorable, then nothing that guy did was technically dishonorable.
Oh, spoke you not on Phoenix.
You're trying to tell me that it was perfectly fine for him to do what he did?
I'm saying he did what Saris expected he would possibly do.
That doesn't make it right.
But you prepare for those things. I'm not
Saris
gonna.
knew he would, but he tried to tell me.
If I hit a guy on the floor and I knew he was the kind who would turn around and stab me in the gut because I didn't, when I went to check to see if he was down and dead, I obviously wouldn't approach him to turn him over and possibly get stabbed in the gut. I would kill him from afar.
Radovan, none of this is the point of what...
It is it's the whole point, because...
No, it's not.
It's basically whether we have permission to do everything we can to survive an encounter with these two things, or we just caught completely unaware and are fucked from the beginning.
It's different for you, Radovan. If you go into a fight with somebody...
Okay,
if you go into a fight with somebody where there are set rules,
right.
but you know that they're dishonorable and that they don't always obey rules,
Right.
you wouldn't be surprised when they broke the rules.
Right, but you'd also know to prepare for when they break the rules.
That's where it's different, Radovan. My people aren't like you.
I know, but... Which is why we might be in a better state to deal with this threat than not. Because we're not alike, Marlo.
We will prepare for him being dishonorable.
We will expect the bullshit that he might
So
bring.
you mean that we would be dishonorable to prepare for his dishonor?
That was my whole question. Is that dishonorable, or is it just preparing for what could happen to us?
I don't want to defeat him like that.
So you rather run from house to house, run from place to place, never knowing if and when he will come for you, and then when he does, you'll run away? Is that more honorable? I'm sorry, Marlo. I'm trying to understand. I really am.
He has to pay a certain way for what he did. And
Right.
if running from him is how I have to deal with it in the meantime, then that's my punishment for making Ferris do the fight.
Okay. I understand the guilt that you must feel for that. Much like the guilt that I feel for a lot of my fuck-ups in life. But that's no way to live, Marlo. I mean, you're human like me. I don't know if it's different because you're a monk. You're a monk and you're fighting. But I'm gonna die one of these days just from old age alone. I wouldn't want the last back half of my life to be constantly on the run, suffering a consequence of something that I could also possibly turn around.
It's not about what I want.
But maybe it should be.
Why? Saris didn't get to live his life out.
So you're gonna live like him, just still breathing?
He's not breathing.
But you are.
Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe it should have been me.
Stop it. Don't say that, please.
That's ridiculous. Look, you died in the service of what we were trying to accomplish with that war, and you were instrumental in dealing with the threats of that war. That's because you came back, so you're back. So stop dilly-dallying down this, maybe I should be dead, I deserve to be dead. Maybe I deserve to be dead. I did that forlorn hope charge expecting to be dead, and I'm still fucking here. And I'm still here. Shut up, Cor. I'm role-playing here.
Sorry.
No, it's... I agree with Kia. You shouldn't ever despair like that. That's beneath you.
That's why I want to get stronger. I can face him and I can defeat him on my terms.
Right. And when
On
are you
Saris's terms.
and when are you going to determine that you're at that point?
I'll know.
You'll just know. I don't know. I didn't know
Until then,
that
we just ignore it?
The elders sent me to find you for a reason.
To fight him with you, right?
I don't know.
Sounds like a good enough reason for me.
It seems to me that, and this is, I guess this will be the last thing I say on this, because it is ultimately on you, Marlo. How do you know if you're going to be ready without knowing what your enemy can do? I didn't know that tiger thing could blow a blast of sonic frost damage that can nearly one-shot us. Now I know, and I know because I encountered it. If we're just going to keep running and hiding, we're not doing our due diligence and researching what these things can do. I think we should, at the very least, do that.
Then maybe you'd be better off if I didn't go with you.
That's ridiculous, Marlo.
I'm putting you at risk.
We're not going there. You are not a jeopardy to me, Marlo. You never were. Well, you were a little bit, but I can tell you when you are and tell you to stop it. Now that I know that this thing is here...
And how do you know when I am?
Because at least now you've told me what the threat is. So I say the next time you have one of these damn visions, you try to extract something so that I can cast spells on and learn more about what these things can do, hoping to Cuthbert it'll work.
I didn't know you could do that, Radovan.
Wow. For my whole life, I've been having to choose spells for this group. So there are a lot of things I haven't had the opportunity to do.
Radovan is secretly like, a new spell to use.
Yeah, he doesn't use half of his repertoire because he always needs other stuff to keep everybody alive.
It's damn hard
Okay.
to
Well,
be a
you've noticed
cleric.
this entire conversation is pretty much got the two dwarven guards just sitting there. I mean, they are really, really
God,
scratching at
they're
their
here.
beards, like. And as you start paying attention to them, like, you know, in your peripheral, you can kind of see them looking, and they're like, "What was that you just said? Something about giant tigers." Ew." And they're listening intently to your entire conversation because you guys aren't exactly being quiet,
Nope.
and you're right outside at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
So
I guess that once I realized they're paying attention, I go, oh, I'm sorry, was there something you didn't understand? Because I can explain it to you. You've missed a lot. I can catch you up.
no, it just reminds us why it's much better to stay inside Cairnemoore and not wander outside into the other unnecessary parts of the world.
You know, sometimes things can wander into Kaveric, right? I know it's unlikely because you guys have built like a fortress here, but...
Well, you wandered in.
Yes, it did. And Akurik wandered into the temple and challenged Ceres, and now Ceres is dead.
Oh, that's a pity. So this Ceres fellow, he was a friend of yours?
He's my teacher. It's the
And
closest
this-
thing I ever had to a father.
And this Akurik, he killed him.
Yes.
You said it was in a duel or some kind of organized contest.
Yeah, I never understood it. Like, he always wanted to fight Ceres, and I never knew why.
And he cheated.
He cheated. He used black magic when he thought he was about to
that's
lose.
a grave grudge to bring about to ban. If that was a dwarven thing, if somebody did that in the arena across there, then a deep, deep grudge would be forged. We would hunt the man down to the end of our days, find him and bring him to justice and make him pay for his dishonorable conduct.
You do know, my friends, that you are speaking to an arena champion far to the south, and I'm going to gesture to Marlo.
He says, well,
She's humble. She's modest, if anything. She never talks about it,
She's also-
but
wee bit small for an arena champion, don't you think?
I'm going to smirk and stop talking. Kind of look at Marlo in the door.
He says, mind you, here in Cairnemoore, when you step into the arena, it is not for a contest, it's to settle a debt or a grudge. We
The
kinda
way
do
it should
for
be.
Sport.
That's the way it should be. Wait, are you suggesting that maybe there was some sort of... Huh.
Huh?
The reason that Akurik wanted to fight Ceres.
Well, there has to be a reason.
So you think there was a score to be settled that Ceres was reneging on?
I don't know. He never talked about it. It can't have been Ceres that did anything wrong.
Sure.
He was a good man. He was the only one that understood me.
Good men make mistakes.
He was different from the other monks, but he wasn't bad.
Sounds like
I fucking love these dwarves.
Something to consider, Marlo. Just maybe start thinking about memories and if anything pops up.
Is there... God, there isn't really a way to talk. To get answers from Saris.
There was.
well, you could always let her die again.
Die honorably, so Cuthbert would
Yeah, she had a
approve.
good old chat with him in the afterlife when she was dead.
I don't think she ever told us that, though. Did you, Marlo?
You know what? I don't remember.
Don't
I've
think
slept a
she
lot
did.
since Children of Jakar.
No, that's not some of the things
was
that she
many
would
months
do.
ago. That was a year of real time ago. yeah, I don't believe Marlowe did. No.
Well, as dishonorable as that prick... What is his name again, Marlo? Sorry.
It was
Kuruk.
Oh, sorry.
A-
I
a
believe
krill-
just dishonorable. What do you call him? A prick?
His name is Acrylic? Like
No,
Like
a Kuruk.
Acrylic?
Acrylic.
Oh my god, hold on. Let me...
A cleric?
Acrylic and Soren.
I mean,
Soren.
Ceres.
Saris.
Sorry.
Acrylic and Soren.
You'd
what-
think we
that's
were.
what you think it-
I mean, we're standing here listening to the entire conversation, and we're listening more carefully than they are. You have to pay attention.
By
This is
now.
a good story.
Now you know how I felt with the Bronzebeard bullshit, okay? It's not easy. Alright. Maybe you can ask him?
Ask him, I asked me to find him. Can't do that.
No, dwarves, shut up, sentries, please.
Oh, we're sorry.
Marlo, the
This
next
is
time
none of our concern. You're right.
But you can still listen. We're not against you listening. Look, the next time you have a vision, maybe try to get some answers. Especially since they're getting longer and more pronounced. He might be lying, but you know, more answers we have, the better we will be moving forward.
So basically, next time you have your 1 second vision, see the background, find out his location, grab some fur, and also talk to him.
Oh, but you're fast.
All in 1 second.
In your
got
1
it.
second vision.
Kia will learn the haste spell. We'll cast it on you before you go to sleep, because a hasted person goes to sleep twice as fast. But just moving forward, try those things. Maybe not all at once, but you know, resolve for one of those things. And the more information we have, if you still don't want to deal with them, at least we'll know maybe where they are, or maybe what they're trying to do, you know, so we could better prepare. Because I'll be honest, it's not exactly fun preparing the same invisibility purge every day, because you know there might be a fucking tiger somewhere hidden, invisible, right in front of us for me to walk into. You follow?
Visible tigers don't want Red Man to walk into one. Got it.
I don't think any of us want to walk into that thing, and I think we're safe here, but if we return to the lowlanders, what if they're on the mountain pass going down,
Oh
you know?
God! What if we're not safe here? None of the dwarves could be safe.
You're not a walking plague, Marlo. The dwarves here are fine. And I'm going to look over at the sentries who are still listening in. You're fine. You know, we're safe. We're friends. Right?
What about that? We
You
know
guys
we're
are-
fine. Gee, that sounds like you're fucked.
Do you want to go back down into the library, Marlo, and... I don't know.
Did I finish the book, Gore?
No,
Or,
it was
like-
like as you started realizing it and absorbing it, and things started to make sense. It was like suddenly, blam! It like hit you.
Well, I mean, I didn't finish the book. I mean, maybe there's something in it that you could use. I mean, you might understand better than me.
Okay, so I'm going to turn to the sentries and I'm going to say, we're still awaiting for summons from the Lord of the Mountains.
Well, I doubt it's going to come this late this evening.
Okay,
Maybe on the morrow,
on the morrow.
but probably not the new.
All right, let's find that's. Well, we might stay up a little later, but let's all read that segment that you found. I'm getting headaches day to day, and I haven't gotten any closer to figuring out what I was looking for. But this is something. It's a lead, so that's
What were you looking for?
the lady in white. Just information. See if there's even a connection that she could be the one up here. I don't know.
Did I see anything about that gore while I was looking
No,
at all
there was
of
no
them?
mention of her.
Damn.
Are you
Okay.
looking up for Radovan? She's out of our life now.
Well, if we're under her charge, Kia, I would want to know why. That's all.
Like her.
I know. Well, we weren't exactly. Our interactions with her were, let's be honest, kind of fucked, and we were to blame for a lot of what happened between us.
Well, it's over now, and she shouldn't need to be in our life.
There's a chance it's not, which is what I'm looking into. But fair enough. I know.
No!
So I guess we're gonna go back down to the library to find that book that.
While that was being said, I'm just sort of looking at Radovan and trying to, like, communicate with my eyes, like, don't need to talk about the lady in white because you already screwed up once with Kia this week.
Can I roll insight to see if I pick up these visual cues that Marlo's throwing down?
That might be a little hard to get all of that from a glance, just saying.
Usually I'm just like,
No, just an insight to see if she wants to say something more to me, because she is looking in my direction, right? So I won't know what, but...
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I think that's feasible. You wouldn't need it. I mean,
yeah.
Marlo's not exactly known for her subtlety.
So as we're walking down, I'm just like, what?
May I remind you about the cat statue?
Oh, what does this have to do with what we were just talking about?
The lady in white is obviously a sore spot.
I don't...
She did take Cal.
Like a dawning realization is going to cross Radovan's face, and he's just going to look at the stairs as he descends them.
I'll be at the inn.
All right, so Kia's going to head back to the inn, the delve in, and hang out with Beecham while they go down and continue to do research. Okay.
I'm gonna score myself a man for the night.
Or a dwarf, if that's... Hey,
Hey,
Yes.
dwarves are men too, Norland.
little elves with beards.
I mostly want
Short, bearded elves is what we're going to get.
I want Radovan to see him walking out of my room. That's really it.
So you're going to pay a dwarf to exit your room at like a
Yes,
late hour?
yes. Maybe. I
He'll
kind of
re-enter
have
the room and leave again and re-enter and leave.
Cal
until I see-
Commandments to follow.
Yeah. Hey, Radovan might have, might have certain rules about, going after beards or something. Who knows?
Sloppy seconds. No.
Right. Beardy seconds. Okay.
I would think that, yeah, I would show Radovan the book. I'll lead them through the rest of
Before you
it.
go in there, the librarian's like,
Oh, they're mad because I
No.
booked the
we must ask that you show a little bit more decorum in the library.
I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose.
Well, be a little bit more careful and don't fall over and then collapse against the books. They're very precious.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't want to hurt their feelings. The books.
We actually came... Books don't have feelings.
They can talk.
We just are here to help clean up what happened out of our sorrow for the event.
Well, we've already taken care of that. But just mind your manners and keep the noise down and be very careful that you do not stumble into any more of the books or you'll be banned from the library.
No, not that. Okay.
So go about your business, but just be careful.
I'm going to enter and look to see if Marlo's tiptoeing now.
Okay, so you want to
Don't
go
wanna
and get
get too
that same
close.
book and let Radovan look at it?
I'm gonna look at the book.
Yeah, maybe I better not, because I don't want to get in a vision. And
All
I'm
right.
also gonna see if I can't find anything in a book maybe that would help Radovan with Kia.
Dating for dummies.
I don't really know what women like as far as like pretty stuff.
Yeah, you find a book that says women are complicated, and then underneath it says, and then there's elves. So, okay.
I don't know what pretty stuff
All right.
Kia likes.
So Radovan, yeah, you pretty much. I don't know if you recall what I said last session.
I do. Yeah, the
but
celestial, but that
allegedly-
doesn't mean good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some kind of that there are. He is the Baihu is a form of celestial spirit.
Okay.
And there are specific spirits that live and operate inside the world. They're not like gods, but they do not conform to the rules and laws of gods. They're kind of like their own entity, and they govern their own things.
Okay, because so Radovan's understanding of celestials, he only has it from the Sword Archon that came from the heavens, like literally, and then the Valkyries that flew in from the Odin cleric's spell, right?
Yeah.
That cast the lightning and were kind of evil, but they still spoke celestial language. So I am going to have my interest piqued about the different, that not all celestials are actually good, necessarily, even though he's always associated celestial with good and devil fiend with bad.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean,
So, okay.
give me give me a religious knowledge religion roll.
Done and done. And done. Hey-oh.
Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, Celestials all hail from the upper planes. And yes,
Okay.
predominantly they are good. They are the sort of things that fight against demons and devils. They are angels or archons or cardinals and stuff like that.
Yes.
Generally speaking, that is what they are, but it is not entirely unheard of for such things to become corrupt.
Okay. So when I finish the book, I'm just going to look to Marlo and be like, so apparently black and white magic where you're from can corrupt these things, which I never thought was possible.
So he used his magic to make a tiger bad? I don't understand, Radovan.
It would appear that way, or something along those lines. Like, it's not unheard of for them to be called into a service and then fulfill that service, even if it's not ideal. Like the flying
The tigers
creatures.
are magic?
Well, the Baihu is. I don't know about the other tigers. They didn't seem to be.
No,
But-
they weren't the same.
But you think of the Valkyries with the lightning bolt spears. They were in service of another guy like me, just with different ideals. And they were in the service to fight us, so they did, even though that's regrettable because, like, if we met in a bar, they shouldn't have reason to. Does that make sense?
So a Kuruk is like when you summon the Archon, so like he summoned one of these like you would, but because he's bad, it's bad?
I don't know fully about how they got in that relationship. I tend to think of it more, since he courses with black magic, that he found a Baihu and corrupted it,
I don't think they just wander around in Fujinami. I mean, like, I've never seen one like in the wild or anything.
But he was exiled, so he had years and years to travel the lands. Maybe he did his own research and found one and corrupted it. I mean, I don't know if this is what happened, but it makes sense in a sense.
Completely out of nowhere, I'm gonna be, maybe you could get Kia a new cloak. She likes purple.
What?
Well,
Oh,
a present for Kia.
you just said the other day that I should not give a gift because right on the tails of my flumble yesterday.
Well,
She
no,
just see it
not
as
right away. You gotta feel it out, Radvan. You'll know when the time is right.
I don't think I will, Marlo. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong the other night. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what I did fully wrong. I mean, at least I understand you, Marlo, even though you are more hidden than she is. Let's just go.
It's not that hard to understand. But I think she would like a pretty new cloak. But you have to be careful about the way you give it to her, because if you just give it to her, she's going to think there was something wrong with her old one. And that would be even worse.
So I buy her a new shiny cloak, and then we go outside to go back to the lowlanders, and if one night she's cold, it's still not the right time to give it to her, because then I'm just giving it to her because she's cold?
Well, no, it's about how you present it, Brad, man. Like...
Okay.
And it can't just be a normal cloak either. It's got to be special. Like, you have to pick out the fabric and everything, and...
Oh, I hate shopping.
It's got to be special.
Okay. I'll think about it. If you stop talking about it. Okay, Marlo?
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna put the book back and kind of just like leave the library.
Okay. All right. So what you gonna do after that?
Head back to the bar, I guess, since it's late at night, right?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So you guys are gonna retire to the Delve Inn. Y'all gonna do anything specific there, or just gonna wait for tomorrow and hope that you are summoned?
I told you what I was doing. That was for real. Mostly a little different though. Since Kia went back before them,
Okay.
she kind of went and found like the drunkest dwarf, and like led him back to his room, which was her room, and just let him sleep in there. You know.
Okay.
That's it. Is that
Give me
possible?
a diplomacy check then, or let's see whether you are capable of wiling a drunk dwarf.
Come on. 3.
no.
Yeah.
Fail.
Damn it!
You're just not their type, I'm afraid. You're entirely too tall, entirely too skinny. Your cheekbones are entirely too high, and you don't have a beard. There's nothing
There are
to hold on
human
to,
there.
so
There are
they're
human
not
there.
You
attractive.
don't have a beard.
So maybe you should get a beard, Kia.
I'll buy her a very, very pricey beard with a cloak attached to it,
Yeah, make her a nice pirate beard.
like a Santa suit, just all purple.
Okay. Yeah, so that's not going so well, I'm afraid, Kia. The dwarves do not
there
seem
any-
to want to play ball with that concept.
Are there any just normal humans in there?
There's a woman.
Ooh, that'll work.
That could work. You wouldn't be jealous.
That might totally. You might see Radavan and go, oh, that's. Oh, no, I get it now.
So here's what's gonna happen. Waiting for them to come back, I'm going to like visibly flirt with Beecham
Okay.
as soon as Radovin walks in the door.
All right. Yeah, Beecham is probably several sheets to the wind by now, so.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
like
Yeah.
as soon as Radovin walks
It's
in, oh
probably one of
Beecham, you're
those
so
things that you can
funny.
entirely get away with just based on the fact that he'll be too drunk to really realize what's going on, and
Perfect.
yeah, okay.
So Marlo and I enter the bar.
Right, yeah. So you see
Stop it.
Kia
Stop it,
basically
Beecham.
fawning over
Like-
Beecham.
Just stop it.
Sitting too close to him. Kind of my hand on his shoulder, laughing at his hilarious jokes.
He's all stop it.
Which are
Beecham."
really probably little more than slurs. Let's put you in the tavern.
Uh,
Okay.
Girls don't play nice, man.
There you go.
The fuck?
I am going to stop dead in my tracks and kind of just look at Marlo.
And I just look like a deer in headlights.
I'll just kind of focus on Beecham, pretending like I didn't realize they just came in.
She's been drinking.
Fucking elves. And I'm just gonna wander over here and sit on this stool
Oh.
and get a dinner.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'm gonna be stuck in the middle.
Stuck in the middle with you.
So I'm gonna get dinner and
Okay.
whatever's happening behind me, I'm gonna kind of
You're
try
gonna
to ignore, even
zone
though
it
I'm
out.
not,
That's not too hard.
even though I'm really not like listening. And then I'm just gonna go to bed.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna eat and drink, and go to bed.
Alright.
Okay.
As soon as he walks out the door, I stop and just start drinking my ale quietly. And then eventually go to bed.
Alright. Okay. So the following day, what's your game plan?
God.
See about the summons, I guess.
Okay, so basically just going to wait on being summoned.
Ask somebody.
Which is fine if that's what you're doing. I'm just asking the question.
Well, I honestly want to go back to the library. I did more research, but I know it's probably not going to be a half thing, and I want to be visible so they know where to find us, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I'm
I'm gonna be incredibly awkward and ask Beecham if he's ever wooed a woman before.
He looks at you with his hangover in the morning and he says, well, yes, of course.
What did you do?
Back in my, well, usually it didn't cost more than a few gold.
Not that kind of wooing, Beecham. I'm
Several
talking
coastal
about like.
taverns are, have such, such pleasure.
No!
That you can... Oh, you mean from a more of a romantic
Yes.
interest?
God.
Well, yes. Several years ago, there was one lass. Her name was Anne. She was a crew member on the merchant vessel that I travelled on. And, we had a very complicated relationship. Things didn't really... We didn't see eye to eye an awful lot, and unfortunately, things took a bad turn, and we're just, we unfortunately parted ways.
That's. Thanks.
Well, you asked. I mean, if you're asking me for dating advice, I can assure you I'm not the man to go to. I might be a bit of a diplomat, but, not exactly in those sort of things. I'll be honest with you, I'd much rather pay for it. Much less
God,
complicated.
Oh, stop talking. Okay, I'm gonna wander out of the inn and proceed to just kind of people watch to try to find two dwarves that look like they're together.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you
seriously?
try to see if, yeah, that's going to work well. Dwarven relationships are definitely going to be the way to go. All right. Okay. So while you guys are waiting in the hopes of being summoned, where are you waiting? What's the game plan? Just so I know exactly where
I am waiting in the library, and I'm going to let everyone know that I'm going to be in the library.
Okay. All right. What about Kia?
Not knowing that Redivan's there, I was gonna go there.
Okay, so you're going to the library as well. All right.
Yeah.
And Marlo is stalking the streets looking for dwarves in love. Marlo's going to start her own dating show.
Don't you like how it was like, oh, I'm being psychically assaulted by the guy who killed my master, but I gotta go find people that are in love so I can teach
Right.
Redivan.
It sounds like you're just trying to distract your brain from the terrible
Marlo's
things.
going to come back with advice by you should really pull her beard hard, apparently. You know. whatever
My
that
goal in
means.
my goal in the library is to try to find anything to learn more about Fujinami.
Well, okay. Well, you guys don't really have that much time to peruse anything. Maybe 30 minutes or so. And a guard comes wandering down and says, "You're Radavan here in Killian, are you not?"
forgot how he said Helium.
We are?
I'm gonna.
We have been
yeah.
summoned by Borg and Ironbeard.
Ah,
To go at once to the
yes.
main hall.
perfect. Thank you.
And do you know where your companions are? Apparently you summoned your two friends as well.
We'll
So-
bring them.
Okay, find them and drag them along.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
We're gonna go out in the city and I guess look for them.
Yeah.
Well, Beecham
I mean-
is, you know where Beecham's at.
We're gonna get
It's not
Beecham.
leaving the delve in.
I'll go grab Beecham.
Okay.
You go get Radovan, you go get Marlowe, wherever she is. I'll meet you at the front gate.
Okay. Okay. So I'm actually going to, since we've been in the city for, I'm actually gonna cast a spell.
Okay, what you casting?
It's helping hands. Oh, I can't because I can't click myself. Oh no.
Oh, you need an icon of yourself to be able
Yeah,
to...
I'm afraid so. Yeah.
I can fix that real quick.
Let's get a big Radovan on the screen.
There's a Radovan on the border.
I don't see him. Which border?
There.
He's
on the map.
He's
Huge. He's on the map. You
motherfucker.
can't miss him. He's in the arena.
All right. So I'm doing helping hand, and I'm gonna kind of like say find Marlowe, and gesture erratically to come as I wait at the front of this.
Okay, so basically you're sending a ghostly hand through the town to find Marlowe and go,
come this way.
okay. Alrighty. Alright,
It's
well,
invisible.
once everybody
Thank
is
you.
together,
Yeah.
you can enter the main hall, the central hall of Borgund Ironbeard, and that is as good a place as any for us to take a quick break. I reckon.
Hey!
Dwarven Hall. There we go. All right. So if you got any questions, now is the time to ask them. We're going to take a short break. Okay. So yeah, as you're heading down there, Beecham is like, "Do I really need to be here for this?"
They said all of us.
Oh well, yes. I suppose it would be polite to attend then.
I know, Beecham. I was busy too.
Sure.
Alrighty. Well, when you get in there, you notice that Scaufmere Durstock is not on the right hand of the Lord of the Mountain. Instead, it is the cleric of Doom Thoin is still there, Doomgul Cargill, but the leader of the Runesmiths Guild, Lundric Thordane, is there on his right instead of Scaufmere Durstock.
Thordine.
Okay. I guess we'll approach at the desired length.
Alrighty. Okay, so you get up and eventually, you're halted by the stair guards.
I was muted.
Damn,
we,
Beecham's gonna run up the stairs there.
as we approach, I'm gonna say, so this is obviously not a matter of security, so that's why he's not here, but these others are. Possibly. I mean, interesting.
So without getting up, Borgund Ironbeard just kind of like puts his left hand and his right hand onto the sides of his huge throne and looks at you and he says, "So, we were in the throes of discussing your previous proposal, and I had a mind to dismiss it. But apparently, Durstock mentioned something about a possible trade agreement that you wanted to bring to my attention. So,
Yes, actually. Well,
Look at Kia.
fine. We noticed a few days ago Captain Vance came in with her ship, the Osprey, and you guys traded with her for fruits and vegetables. We noticed after that your lack of such items, and they only come twice a year, is that correct?
I'm not aware of much in the way of trade of fruit and vegetables, but that is correct that the osprey tends to come but twice a year, yes.
Did I mess that up, Radovan? What else do they trade? Fruit?
Oh no, you're good, Kia. That's precisely it.
Well, it turns out the lowlanders down at the bottom of this mountain have a plethora of such items. And I'm sure they could benefit from what you have to offer.
I see. So instead of assisting these lowlanders with their problem with these Valkyrie, you propose that we enter into some kind of rudimentary trade agreement with them instead, exchanging our... I suppose, under the circumstances, you're to suggest that we exchange weapons and armor in exchange for fruit and vegetables. Is that it?
That would be very sufficient. We know you don't want to get involved with your actual men fighting, but this could really aid the war effort.
I see. Well, this is something that, again, we will have to discuss. And he kind of glances and looks at the High Cleric of Doomathoin and the leader of the Runesmith's Guild. He says, but, this has more promise as a suggestion than what you brought to my attention before.
Such agreements could be of great benefit to you, for you would have a precious commodity to the Offspray, the people of Sidoria, the Offspray. You'd probably get better deals yourself. And I have a hunch the Valkyrie, if they were to take over the whole south of this lands, would not be so inclined to make such a trade agreement with you.
No, this is probably true. But, the lowlanders are a good distance from us and quite a journey through the mountains to merely trade for fruit and veg.
This is true, so I would suggest an outpost of something to cut the distance in half, if you will. But such places need to be protected.
And built.
And built. I think in the long
the
run.
impression that these Valkyrie were breathing down the lowlanders' necks. Dwarven ingenuity, it would take us many, many months to develop any kind of outpost that we would be willing to consider manning.
I merely offered a long-term prospects.
And in the short term?
Such distances would have to be travailed. You do have a much more efficient mode of transport than any of us have thought of, with the sled with the goats. The skiff.
So it would be put upon us to make the journey, is what you're suggesting.
Well, not necessarily.
Why can't they just both meet halfway?
I agree. They probably should.
Hence the concept of the outpost.
But still meeting halfway before that outpost is constructed. Make an encampment.
In mind?
Honestly, I do not.
Lord. I mean, I'm sure you've travelled. You arrived here in Cairnemoore from the lowlands, did you not?
We did.
Did you find it an easy or pleasant journey?
No.
Not exactly.
So, how long did... So, the trolls we just avoided by hiding, that was at, like, the very base of the mountain, right?
That was kind of down in the bottom of the mountain. Then you went up through the mountain passes, you found a cave that had that, cadaver beastie thing in, and then you went all the way along the bluff of the cliff, and then you kind of winded all the way up the paths up into... So, I mean, it was a good week's worth of... More than a week's worth of travel.
What is halfway?
So, yeah, the base of the mountain to Carvarak, how long is that? What would that be? The halfway point?
Close to, yeah.
And how long from there to the settlements? I mean, it's like 3 or 4 days,
yeah,
right?
It was about 3 or 4 days.
So I'm gonna say, well, the base of the mountain is a solid 3 or 4 days away. If you leave here and head to the east while going down, the path, it kind of breaks up at a few places. We had to climb down at one point, and there was a gigantic bird creature that attacked us.
Well,
Don't know what
east
happened
here
to.
would lead us across the mountains and down into the territory of those Valkyrie fellows. The
Well, it
lowlanders
was
are more
east,
to the
southeast. Right.
and
My
west.
apologies. But we were traveling. Was that?
Yeah, it's southwest.
It's southwest? Okay. Sorry, I got confused with the maps.
Hey, I often get east and west wrong, but it is southwest.
It's southwest, okay.
Yep.
Alright. So southwest through the rock creature, and then the base with the trolls. Okay.
There's
So-
the map itself. So,
Okay.
you guys are currently in Cairnemoore. Actually, from Cairnemoore, which is the last place you come, that is actually a little bit southeast, but the majority of the Highlanders are southwest.
I see. Okay. Interesting. But Cairnemoore is where we had the deal set up with the other guys, right? So,
Oh, the follower thingy's stuck. Yes, the Cairnemoore is where the most.
where the threats are like kind of the most pronounced.
Right. Yes.
So I'm gonna say, well, there's a settlement, there's a village called Cairnemoore, which is south of here, a little to the east, where a few of the different lowlander tribes have agreed to unify, and the whole point is we came here attempting to ask for your help. Well, they gather more tribespeople to possibly deal with Valkyrie threats. Obviously, at the very base of the mountains, the way we came in could be considered a place for an outpost that would be defendable by both you and the lowlanders. I seem to recall there being like a little crevice, which we kind of avoid before we travel into the mountains. And I'm talking of that like little section. You know what I'm talking about, Gore? That little where the trolls pass us by.
Yeah, I know.
Right to the south of that, there was like that little place.
Well, if we are to entertain this, obviously you will have to go back to these lowlanders and offer this means of trade, find out what their terms are and if they agree to our terms, and then come back, I suppose.
Would it be possible, and I'm willing to do that, if someone from Carvarak took us, we traveled with them to show them the place that I had in mind for middle grounds? Dangerous as it is.
We'll worry about that if a trade agreement is struck. I no risk any of my dwarves unnecessarily.
It would do us a good, nice courtesy if we were to acquire a skiff of our own to make the journey quicker.
I'm sure we could arrange for you to have such a thing, yes?
And some goats. Because we love us some
obviously.
goats. Yes, okay. Well,
Perhaps a sample of what we can trade them so they have a good idea.
That would be reasonable. Perhaps you can suggest something that these lowlanders would like to trade with us. Heavy armor, perhaps. Good, strong axes. Mighty maces, hammers of war.
They will love that.
more so than the armor, yes. They seem to be... But they do love themselves some big weapons. I will say that. Fine quality dwarven made. Perhaps we could purchase 1 or 2 samples to bring down with us, and
That's not necessary. If we agree, we can send you a couple of samples, no problem. And, Very well. We shall discuss it amongst ourselves today, and you will have an answer this evening.
thank you. Thank you, my lord.
Very well. That will be all.
Gonna give a little bow and moonwalk out of there.
We appreciate everything you're doing. I'll
Alrighty.
take my leave.
Oh, we're done. Okay.
Marlo sits in the back.
Off the edge. Okay.
Marlo and
Anything else
Beacon
you
were in the
guys
back
want to
playing rock,
do
paper,
in
scissors.
Cairnemoore while you're waiting?
I am gonna do the library for 1 more day,
Okay.
especially
Use
since
the library.
do the do.
All right. So Radovan, give me another research roll then.
I need to talk to Cal.
You want to talk to
Yay.
Cal? Okay. A 15.
So
okay.
I had 21 to begin with.
Plus 15. All right. So what you do you do find a little bit of information. Logic would suggest, after you kind of like start to pore over this, that there's nothing really referred to as the Lady in White. I mean, that's purely a name that you gave her. But you do find information that kind of piques your interest along the similar lines to the Bayou, that there is a spirit, typically seen as a celestial woman, and she governs the laws of, for want of a better word, karma.
Ooh. Okay.
And it's the reason that kind of like pricks your interest is because it is known that when people start doing things that they shouldn't do, if they are people that are meant for greater things, quite often she will visit upon them a dose of karma to put them back on the right track, which kind of sort of seems to go in line with what happened to you guys when the city or the town got descended into winter in the middle of summer, and a Krampus was visited upon the town and you guys were basically to blame.
Right.
So it's very possible. But if that's the case, then clearly somehow her and that Bayou, there is some form of connection. So your guess is probably maybe that was the Lady in White, the little shower of lights that spoke with an eloquent female voice that protected you from the Bayou the first time you met it. Okay. So Marla wants to have a discussion with Cal. Fun. Okay.
That's scary.
Where do you want to meet? Where do you and Cal want to have a chat?
An
So you have
alleyway.
to find it where Kia is.
Oh my
Holy
gosh,
crap, that
let's
got big all of
see.
a sudden.
Somewhere where there's not going to be people around, and I don't want him to get chased down and almost beheaded by a dwarf again. I guess I would actually ask Cal where he wants to go. Be like, hey Kia, can I borrow Cal for a minute?
I've got mice to catch.
Okay.
He's got a cat form, and I'm being chased by a spiritual type cat. I don't.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's up to you.
I don't know. I figured that there's probably not going to be anybody in the arena.
Okay, so you want to go back to the arena with Cal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there's somebody there. Like, I don't want to.
So, no, there's nobody in the arena. All right, so
Alright.
Kia, you're content to let your familiar
Yeah.
go off with Marlo?
I don't really care.
Okay. So take the little grey and white tabby version of Cal
So cute.
to the arena. Okay. So as he sits there, he just looks up at you and he says, "So what's this about?"
Kia seems kind of moody lately.
Oh no.
She's always moody.
Yeah, but she seems kind of upset with Radovan.
Oh, is that why she hardly ever lets me out of the damn bag?
I've
It's his
noticed
fault.
that, but I
knew
think
it was
it's
his
just.
fault.
No, I think she's just worried about you. She doesn't want you to get hurt. You're very important to her.
Care of my... Oh, she doesn't want me to get hurt, but she has no problem sending me miles ahead of you people to act as a scout in snow that I can barely see above, in treacherous winds. Yes, she's very worried about me.
Well, maybe you should tell her you want to come out of the bag some. Do you want me to tell her to let you out some?
No. If I have to ask her to let me out, it doesn't count. She has to want to do it.
That makes sense.
I mean, if I have to suggest to her that she should let me out of the bag more often and treat me nicer, and she does it, well then she's not doing it because she loves me and wants to do it, but she's doing it because I told her.
You're right.
He said, but I knew it was Radovan's fault. It's always his fault.
Oh, no. It's not Radovan's fault that's happening. I think it's totally unrelated. It's
No,
just
it's
Kia
definitely his
seems...
fault.
Kia seems kind of... She wants more attention from Radovan.
Exactly. And because she wants more attention from him, she's giving me less attention. I know how it works.
Well, I mean, it's just maybe if we could make Kia happier... Don't you want Kia to be happy?
You mean we should get her away from Radovan? I agree. Let's do that. You know, it is very slippery, and there is a very big cliff on the way out of here.
You can't mean that, Cal.
No, I suppose I don't. But you could do it. You could trip him.
Kia would be sad if something happened to Radovan, just like she would be sad if something happened to you.
Oh, I suppose that would be rather selfish of me.
Well, how about we all do something unselfish for Kia, and what do you think she would like? Like a present?
What do I like as presents? A nice trout would be delicious. She'd love that.
Do you really think she'd like a trout?
Possibly a bowl of milk, served in a golden goblet. That would be nice. She'd like that.
Would she?
Oh, of course, I'd love it. I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like a nice fresh fish and a big bowl of fresh milk? Doesn't that sound wonderful?
Well, it kind of does, but
Especially
I don't
when
know
all
that...
you've been eating is mice and rats around this wretched place for a while.
Cal, can we focus on Kia for a moment?
I thought we were.
I will get you milk and I will get you a trout, but we need to talk about Kia and what she would like to get as a gift from a man.
Well, I could tell you that she was very... As you know, I'm very astute when it comes to Kia's emotional state, and I can tell you she was very upset when Radovan gave that wretched, hideous-looking version of me, covered in little sparkly baubles, to that other fellow, the one that smells of wet fish all the time.
Yeah, I could tell that she was upset when that happened.
So perhaps she wants one of those. She seemed to really wish that it was hers. Maybe that's
Really?
what you should do. Get her a clay cat covered in glass.
You don't think that would upset her if Radovan gave her one of those now?
Why does Radovan have to give it to her? You give it to her. I'm sure it's not because Radovan was going to give it to her. She just liked it. I'm sure that's what it was. She just thought, oh look, it's a really great, ugly version of a cat. It's because it would have reminded her of me.
So something that reminds her of you, she would like.
That sounds logical.
Okay. That sounds good. Thanks, Cal. You've been a lot of help. And I will be sure that you get your milk and your trout. And maybe soon Keo will let you out of the bag more when she thinks about it.
Maybe you should. Well, no, don't hint to her. Don't tell her, because if she does it, then I'll. If she suddenly does it, I'll know you put her up to it. So it still won't mean anything.
You and Kia are a lot alike, Cal. You make a good familiar for her.
Am I that much of an asshole?
This whole party's an asshole. Let's
He's
be
like,
real
"Well,
here. Different
while
shades.
I spent that time away from her, clearly she had time to reflect. And we do have our own arrangement now. Even though sometimes she does deviate from it a little bit more than I would like, she's doing a lot better.
She's changed a lot,
She
and
hasn't
I know
sat
that a
on me
lot
in
of
a long
it.
time. That's a great thing.
A lot of it has to do because she really did miss you when you were gone, Cal.
Good. That was the whole point. Was she miserable?
She was.
Good.
She was
she,
willing
like,
to do anything to get
really,
you back.
really upset?
She was really upset, Cal.
Excellent. Maybe I should bug her off more often. Oh, wait a second. We're supposed to be making her happy, aren't we? Okay, no, I won't do that. But, yes, I highly suggest you find a hideous clay cat, cover it in little bits of broken glass, and give her that, and she'll love it.
Okay, Cal. That sounds like a great idea, but
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going hunting. Tell her I'll be back later.
okay. Be careful, though, Cal. I know you can take care of yourself. It's just I know Kia would be really upset if something happened to you, and
No,
these
she'll just blame you. It's okay. All right, bye! And he goes scampering out the side of one of the archways.
Oh, I'm gonna go find a clay cat and break it.
Just don't say the word.
I guess I'm gonna go try to find Radovan and impart Cal's wisdom.
I'm in the library, so this is about the time I'm discovering what I'm discovering. So
Yeah, okay.
Jeez.
Alrighty. Okay, so do you wish to go and procure such an item, Marlowe, or are you going to let that go in one ear and out the other?
No, I'm gonna listen to Cal.
Okay. Well, you know...
I mean, I have misgivings about what he's telling
Well,
me,
you know where
but
Radovan got it from. So if you want to
yeah,
go
but
down...
I can't afford gold. I don't want to like buy something so gaudy though. I'm gonna try to fund clay. Honestly, I'm gonna try to find
You're
clay.
gonna sculpt it yourself.
I'm gonna try to find clay and broken glass.
Well, I mean, yeah. If nothing else, you know that guy obviously probably does have clay, because if nothing else, he probably makes molds out of it. So, okay, yeah. So if you head down to the jeweler's, you're able to. We won't drag it out, but at the jeweler's, you can pretty much get as much clay as you might need. And if you want colored broken glass, I'm sure he can provide that as well, because he probably uses, stained glass and things for stuff. So, knock off maybe 2 gold for everything that you might want.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try my mold the best Cal I can possibly mold with broken glass on him.
Okay, so you're gonna make a cat shape out of clay and then stick
dangerous.
little bits of the glass all over it.
that's
Oh.
not dangerous
But
here.
see, I'm gonna be incredibly anal about it. Like, it's gotta look just like Cal to me. So, like, I'm
To
thinking,
you,
am
alright.
sitting there, like, being very get like little tools and using like the edges of my shuriken and stuff to like make his little markings and.
Okay. Do you have a crafting skill of sculpting or anything like that? No? Then you're giving me an intelligence check then, aren't you?
Damn it!
Some cheap knockoff broken glass.
What sucks
covered
is
cat.
because I can technically do. I have proficient in crafting, but again, it's just intelligence, and I haven't put any ranks into it because why the hell would I need that?
Right. Well, that's the reason you're getting the roll, Because those are actually those sort of skills are typically, if you don't have the craft, you're not going to do well. But you do have it. Crafting is a checked skill for you, so you can do it at your whatever your base intelligence is.
I guess I'll just hit one of the buttons beside this then.
Yep. All right. Let's see. So before you roll,
Yes.
10. It will vaguely represent. It will vaguely be cat-shaped, and it will be seen and noticeable as a cat. 15. It will clearly be a clay cat figurine and have all the, probably even be right proportionate. And should you manage to get it to 20, of course, it'll be unbelievable. But anything 10 or above, and it will pass as a cat figurine that nobody will question.
So it's asking me if I have tools. I would have tried to get tools to work on it, but I don't know if...
That's why I charged you 2 gold.
So, like,
so
just
you do
normal?
have tools, so you can count the tools.
So I would just do that as normal?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be masterwork, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. By the time you're finished, it has 4 legs. It probably... It's a very long-necked cat. But it looks like you're kind of... I suppose that'll do.
It's a fucking giraffe.
That's pretty much what it does look like. It's a giraffe. But at the end of the day, you know how it is. You know what it's supposed to look. You visualize it. You can see the cat in it. You can see the cat in it. You can visualize the cat sitting up, proud with its long body and incredibly long neck.
I'm gonna go find Kia.
And it's covered in lots of gaudy broken glass. Not necessarily big, huge pieces that are jagged and sticking out. I mean, I'm assuming you're not trying to turn this thing into something that as soon as you pick it up, it just lacerates your hand. So it's probably the glass, I'm sure, is like pressed against it flat as opposed to sticking out. Maybe there's 2 pieces of jagged glass poking out as ears. But someone in chat is gonna do this thing, right? It's gonna appear.
Oh.
So yeah, the chat artists are just gonna have a field day with this bloody thing. Okay.
Poor Marlo.
It's a 3. Come on, I'm being generous with the fact that I'm letting it have 4 legs.
She never rolls well in situations like this with intelligence. It's so sad.
So yeah, eventually you can head back to the tavern where you see. Actually, where were you going? Were you going back to the tavern, or were you going to?
I was going to find Kia, so
so
I'd probably check there first.
Was Kia going to the tavern, or was Kia going to the library?
That's a good question. I guess the library to learn more Fujinami stuff.
Alrighty then. So when you get to the tavern, she's not there, but Beecham can basically say to you, after the meeting, I think she went down into the Underkingdom and went book perusing again.
I think the dice panel is also still covered.
Oh, it is? Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, someone in chat just mentioned
Thank you.
it.
I missed that.
Okay, then I'll follow Beecham's directions and proceed to the library.
Oh, I see what I did. I turned off the wrong thing. I turned off the actual dice thing as opposed to the panel, the cover. Okay. Alright, yeah, so you find Kia and Radovan pondering over books, and Radovan seeming to, he's really intensely reading this book that he's looking at right now, and Kia's just more, perusing.
I'm actually not going to approach. I'm just going to kind of watch them from between the bookshelf.
So you're gonna hear a stereotypical ah. All right, I'm gonna say, Kia. Kia.
What?
Karma. The lady in white.
Her name's Karma?
No, but think about it.
Do sweet things.
We met her in Finnerton, and the whole town was being selfish, and we were pestering her, demanding answers, like we had a right to the answers, and then she punished us in the town, And we were set upon by that demonic creature with the tongue and the lashes and who rhymed.
I still don't know why you're researching.
Karma. We deserved what we got, but we could be destined for more. Then she came back and Cal was gone, but Cal was with the cat. We gotta talk to the cat because the cat was with her. We can find more information about the journey that he was on.
Wait, you're saying we deserved?
At the time, we were more selfish. We were less good, right? We were kind of getting what we deserved. Karma. What happens to you deserve.
What does that have to do with the tiger?
We killed.
Did we deserve that? We've been good.
But the tigers, the Marlowe's tiger, said that the little ones, the ones that we killed, were its mate, right? So we killed its mate, so that was the crime. What if that was the crime?
Didn't we attack them because they attacked us?
But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is, in the Baihu's eyes, we had violated its laws, and so the lady, the sparkly lady, which could be the same lady, the karma lady, said we would be punished according, and we were put on that trial, and that was our punishment. But it was karma.
So we did the trial. We're fine now. We're even.
In her eyes, yes, I would assume
What
so.
about Marlowe?
I don't know. I mean, if this thing's now enslaved, maybe now this thing is enslaved. Maybe what was evil was corrupted before that. But it attacked us, not Marlowe, when it's AoE attack. But the lady in white, she represents karma. Don't act selfish. And Cal can tell us, because Cal was with her, not it.
Cal's not going to tell us anything.
Possibly worth asking, no?
I don't know that you've
Sure.
ever asked Cal anything about the lady in white.
behind the bookshelf, if anybody had been looking at me when they said we could ask Cal won't tell us. I'd be like,
I just try not to think about him with her, so.
But maybe we should. It's karma. That's the whole thing. We need to think about things that we maybe don't want to, because it might hurt us. But that's not a good thing to have, Kia, either, because karma can come back and bite you in the ass for not dealing with the thing that you don't want to deal with. Does that make sense?
Spook just banned California Chai.
dude, I'm trying to fix it, okay?
He's trying to
Oh my
unban
God.
him for a link.
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to. Somebody fix it.
I mean,
Okay.
Kia, like,
There.
Yes.
this is just...
If you can speak, Callie, go ahead and speak. So we know that they know that they've unbanned you.
Sorry, Callie.
I have -1 intelligence. I'm sorry.
I think I unbanned him. And no, it's
Yes,
not an
there you go. You're
exclamation
good.
point.
You're good.
It's
No,
a,
it's slash,
it's
isn't
a
it?
forward slash.
/ yeah. I just copied. I copied one from above, and I just see that. Okay, yeah, you're good, man. Sorry about that. It's our bot. You can't post unless you're a moderator. You can't post links without getting a moderator to give you permission to. All right, sorry.
So
Okay.
Kia, that's what it's all about. To be a good person.
Karma, huh?
Karma, to not do something that could drag you into getting what you deserve because of what you got dragged into.
Let me just do one thing.
Sure.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna look him in the face.
Look me in the face?
Look you in the face.
Oh.
Take my hand back and slap you as hard as I can. Is that what you mean by karma?
I am going to rock my head and you're lucky I had my helm off because you would have hit my helm because I'm reading. I don't have a fucking helm on when I read. So I'm just gonna go,
I think we're even now.
okay, karma, I deserve that.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at the cat figurine I'm holding.
Alright, now we can move on. Fine, we'll do what you think we need to do.
Lead the way. My eyes closing. Yeah, I'm gonna be wiping like tears from my eyes.
I'm gonna stand up and smile and start walking away. Let's go.
I'm gonna look around to the dwarves and kind of like nod apologetically.
One of them's looking at you like,
Karma. I'm gonna follow Kia out.
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna sneak off after them. Like,
All right. So once you emerge out onto the streets,
All right, find Cal. Where is he?
I'm gonna go into my mind's eye and figure out where Cal is.
okay. Cal is actually loitering around. There's apparently wherever he is, there's a lot of sheep there.
Sheep. Alright. Is he outside of the city? Are
No,
there
he's
sheep
in the city. Look, you can see the dwarven architecture.
Okay. Alright. Sheep, guys. Where are there sheep?
Well, you've definitely heard bleeding and sounds coming from the south of where you are here.
Perfect. I'll head that way.
All right. And yes, it's not far. It's not long before you go southwards and find basically a building that is full of sheep and stuff like that. So it's just like a very large building that has like a sloped roof, but then there's a section of it that's open. And yeah, it's pretty obvious Cal is somewhere in there stalking rats or mice in amongst the hay.
Alright. I'll ask him to come out
All right.
towards us.
Okay, well, by the time he comes out, he emerges. As he finishes off the last bite of whatever mouse or rat he was just chewing up.
Hey, Cal.
Okay, he looks at you.
I have
And
something.
he goes over to Marlo, and you
Ask
hear
you.
him look at you. He goes, "Did you get it? Did you get one?"
Wait, what? Get
Oh,
what?
Marlo.
Nothing.
Hi, Marlo.
hi.
I obviously didn't. I didn't see you be. I was tearing.
Yeah.
What? I'm gonna look between Kia, Marlo, and the cat.
No,
Yeah.
did you find anything interesting?
Yeah. Kia.
Alright, I'm gonna ask Cal if he could, like, speak in common out loud so we can all talk to him. Can he do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Cal can, yes.
Okay, so,
Yeah, he
like,
does
there's
have
something I've been meaning to ask you about after all this time you've come back. Do you mind if I ask you questions?
I suppose so.
I guess I never really asked what it was like with the lady in white. Where were you and what did you do?
Where weren't we is more the question.
I mean, you traveled?
Oh, yes. All over the place. I don't know how we got there. We just seemed to appear. And she went around doling out justice to wrongdoers.
Really?
Yes, sometimes she did it in person, but usually she manifested something to teach them a lesson. But only after they had done things that they shouldn't have done. It's quite fascinating. Very powerful.
Right, Ben? Do you have anything?
Was it laws being broken or just general things they did that were not good?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really know much about laws of men.
Okay, but
And I didn't really ask questions, but usually it was, they'd obviously done something that they shouldn't have done. And typically it was something they did routinely. And so she would teach them a lesson by visiting something upon them.
were they ever killed? As far as you know?
Yes.
And these things she manifested, were they always demonic in appearance? Like
Oh, no.
depth?
No,
Or-
it was often, sometimes it was she would bring back images of dead relatives that they'd done wrong to. It really depended on what they'd done.
So give an example. Please give an example of what they did. We'll feed you whatever you want. You know.
So there was this one time that she appeared, and there were these strange green creatures, and apparently that they had cannibalized one of their own kin. So she brought the dead creature back alive, but it had a huge mouth with big sharp teeth, and it chased them all around. And it wasn't until they eventually all like apologized and paid homage and kind of said some words and things to try to say sorry for what they'd done, and then it eventually just disappeared. Another time, there was that one time where there was those individuals that kept being mean to people in general and being selfish and not really helping out the commoners like they should have done. So she made it winter there, and then summoned this evil spirit to punish the whole town.
That was
until.
us.
Did she do that twice?
Oh no, that was you, wasn't it? Yes, I do recall that was you. I sorry, I forgot.
And you were there and you saw it.
Yes.
You were witness to it.
Yes.
And
Well, that
between
was kind of when I found her, really.
That was going to be my question. How did you find her?
Well, she found you. And
So-
that
so-
point was when. It wasn't long after that Kia was being mean to me, and she sat on me and almost squished me, and it made it very obvious to me that she didn't appreciate me for what I was, and she'd become quite wicked. But you do seem better now, mistress, so that's good.
And between then and when you returned to Kia, when you went on all these journeys, did she ever speak to you about us?
Not about you. We watched Kia sometimes. She used to be able to do this thing where she could just hold her hands together and do this, and basically she could see anywhere and anything. So we used to watch you.
It's not creepy at all.
Like a more powerful scrying spell. I feel you. I
Yes,
get
but
you.
she didn't really cast spells. She just had things happen.
She just did things. So the tigers that we killed, I know you were in the bag, but it was cold, to be fair. And I'm gonna look at Kia. The voice that spoke, did it sound familiar to you at all? Did you hear it?
I didn't hear anything.
Because you were in the bag.
I have very good hearing. I think I'd have heard a voice if it was for me to hear.
But did this lady that you traveled with ever conjure anything about, like, ents, tree ent things?
Oh yes, she was very fond of doing things. If you wronged nature in any way, she would use nature to punish you. Absolutely.
We didn't wrong nature, we were just defending ourselves. Maybe to nature we were wronging nature.
But if you're going to die by nature, how else can you... You're just supposed to let it kill you?
Well, never really.
That doesn't seem
never
right.
saw her do anything like that. But people that would do things like wantonly burn down forests carelessly, or people that would just kill for sheer sport. But she really didn't care much about nature, to be honest. It was usually there was some. See, she's not the only one. There are other things that are like her, but they all look different and they all do different things. But you never really know what any of them look like, because they can all be whatever they want to be whenever they want to be it.
Right. Okay, because
Most of the time, we traveled around as shimmering lights.
well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Probably a lot more fun than being in a bag, I reckon.
Yes, it was really.
Why do you keep bringing that up? You want to be in this bag. You told me every time I took you out, you'd complain about your paws being cold.
Well, that's because you took me out in the middle of winter and put me on the ground.
We're in the middle of winter.
Well, the
Can't help
bag's
that.
fine when we're outside in the freezing cold, but when we're in a nice warm tavern.
Why do I have to let you out? Why can't you just crawl out of there?
Well, I can, but it would be really nice if you would open the bag and invite me out and give me food and drink instead of me wandering around the tables looking for scraps on the floor. Once upon a time, you used to give me tuna fish and milk all the time, and you haven't done that for a long time, have you?
Well, there's not exactly an ocean
no
around
tuna
here.
here.
I mean,
You know,
I know there's bloody cows.
what
They're
I
north
think,
of here. I've seen them. I know there's milk. I've seen people drink that too.
if we all just told everybody what we were feeling and thinking, and I'm gonna look at Radvan and then at Kia.
I'm going to use this moment to totally deviate and not answer what Marlo just said. I'm going to say, Cal, I know it's the middle of winter. I will spare an Endure Element spell for you at any point that you want it to travel around, even if it's dead freezing.
Oh, you're totally missing the point.
No, I don't think I am, because...
As I've said, I'm fine in the bag when we're wandering around in the middle
No,
of
I
winter.
know, but if you want to travel
Get
and
it,
walk...
Radavan. Just, this is between me and Cal. You don't need to.
Fine, I'm just going to go quiet.
All I'm saying is, when you are in a nice warm tavern, it would just be very nice if you would open up the bag and there'd be a nice bowl of milk waiting for me. Or something I can eat instead of having to crawl around in the tavern looking for scraps on the floor.
All right,
That's
Cal.
all I'm saying.
I mean, it's
You'll
While Kia
suddenly
and
be
Cal
super
are-
nice to me if I do that.
I'm always
Makia
nice
and
to
Cal
you.
are fussing at each other.
I do everything
I'm
you
gonna motion to
ask me
Radavan.
all the time without question.
Well, I don't know about without question.
Well, sometimes I grumble, yes, but I do it, don't I?
But Marlo is right. Marlo, what did you just say to me? Sorry, what? You? No. Okay.
What? Well,
We should say what's on our mind and what we're thinking more, just as a group, because I don't want to unintentionally upset someone. You know, not perfect, but I mean, if we're dealing with Karma here, and we're under her charge for whatever reason, we should be more mindful of each other's feelings.
We
just
should.
in general.
Kia
Just all
likes
of
cat
us.
figurines. There, I said it.
what?
You like cat figurines.
Shit.
Like, what?
You like cat figurines. You got all upset when Radavan gave that cat figurine to that Beecham fellow.
Ooh.
And I'm just in a
Holy shit!
You know it's true. Me and Marlo talked about it. She knows. She was there as well. She saw the whole thing. She was almost in tears. She was crying on the inside, virtually.
Shit.
You had no idea, did you? She really likes cat figurines. And
I
that
don't
one,
like
as
cat
ugly as it
figurines.
was, well, then what was it? Because when you were looking at, and I saw it, and I felt your emotions, and the cat was on the table, and you were all happy, and you were all joyous inside, and you were so excited, and then he handed it to the Beecham fellow that smells of wet fish, and then you went all sad. And I
Cal,
realised
shove
it's
it.
because you. Well, it's true. You were.
With that, I'm just gonna
Look
hand
around.
the cat figure over to Kia with my head down.
I'm gonna take it.
I was gonna tell you that Radavan made this for you, but that he
Because it's
thought
total
you might
crap,
not
and
like
I
it.
don't want to own it.
Excuse me?
I was gonna tell you that Radavan made
Azandrax,
this for you,
appreciate
but
the
he was
cheer,
too scared
bloody.
to give it to you.
But did you make this?
I'm gonna look at this giraffe thing.
Okay, yeah, so it's a clay shape with a very long tail, 4 stubby legs. The front legs are longer than the back legs, at least. And it has a great big long neck and 2 really big pokey ears at the top that are probably pieces of shards of glass.
I went to Cal. I asked to borrow Cal earlier because I wanted to ask him what you would like, and he said that he thought that you would like getting a cat figurine because you were really happy about the one that Radavan gave to Beecham. And so I was gonna tell you that Radavan made it, but he was too scared to give it to you. And then I was gonna tell Radavan to play along.
Marlo,
Did
thank
see
you
Joe
for
Farmer's
this.
picture?
Yeah. It's so good.
It's too good, actually. I'm sure the thing that
Marlo,
Marlo put together is probably less of a cat than that.
I know. You sweet, sweet monk. I don't know what to say
Okay,
right
you
now.
notice Cal is like just
I love
looking
it.
at you like. Okay, he moves up and he brushes against Marlo's leg and he goes, "Sorry to tell you this, but she doesn't like it as much as the other one."
I know, because she knows it's not from Radovan.
Oh, so we're back to it all being his fault again.
Wait,
You look at Radovan awkwardly.
well, to be fair, Marlo, she was in the library with me ever since, like, our meeting when I had made it.
What did she say?
She didn't have to know that you didn't make it at the same time as the other one.
Oh.
Suddenly,
I guess that's
we're
true.
being inundated with cat pictures. There's
Another one?
there's one there with the actual. There's one there. There's a giraffe with angry cat on it as well. I think that was what,
Oh, shit.
you
Oh,
guys. You guys.
So, Marlo, I do love you. I really do. It was very sweet.
Follow it.
But I didn't make this, Kia. I was with you at the library the entire time. And if I had made it, I would have gifted it to you the same time I gifted it to Beecham.
You know what you did, and we don't have to talk about this, please. Can we talk about this, guys? This is way too much.
Fair.
Just
I
forget
agree.
the past 20 minutes and just keep going. I got my karma already.
I
That's
got my karma too. It seems Marlo still deserves hers. It was good karma. I'm gonna add.
it.
That was honestly very sweet and kind of ingenious in its own.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I'll take the cat figure and wrap it carefully in a cloth and put it in my backpack. I'll keep it.
But as long as we're all telling the truth, Cal wants trout and milk, and he doesn't want to be in the bag all the time anymore, even though he kind of already told you that.
Oh. I know now.
Okay.
Are we in a zone of truth, Radovan?
No. You would know if you were. And I wouldn't do that to you. Without your permission. Look, Borgund Ironbeard is going to have a decision for us. If anything, it looks like tomorrow we're heading back down the mountain.
Well, as you're saying that, you can actually see the two messengers that come and fetched you before are marching down towards you from the west, from where the water, from the water fountain, and they're kind of heading in your direction. But I mean, it's still going to be a little while before they get here.
Okay. God, I don't even know what to say right now.
I don't either. I'm honestly fucking speechless about everything that just happened.
I don't know.
Oh. I'm just gonna look awkwardly for the guys to approach, without words.
Okay. Right, Cal at this point kind of jumps up into Kia's, jumps up onto the bag and climbs down in the bag, and he's like, "I want to be in here right now."
Okay.
And he disappears in, and you can just kind of see the flap of the bag just gets pushed up just enough for his eyes to peer out so he can see what's going on.
Okay.
So the two guards show up, and once again they summon you to the main hall to see Borgund Ironbeard.
Let's get Beecham and go.
Alrighty. Okay. Once more, before the Lord of the Hall you are. So... we'll be on time. Perfect. Stay on target. There you go. Okay. Alright, so once again you're in front of the... What's that on the floor? Oh, it stains. Okay. Don't capture that. That wasn't meant to be. Okay. So, yeah.
Approach.
Approach the bench. Right. Okay, so once you get that, Borgand Ironbeard looks at you and he says, "We have discussed your proposal. And I cannot tell a lie, it would be of a definite great benefit for us to have a more substantial means to grow root vegetables and possibly some fruit. We have mastered the ability to farm indoors, and we have a huge mushroom farm deep below. They grow very well in the dark. However, all of our attempts to grow agriculture underground seems to be limited to funguses. We have cattle, we have sheep, but fruit and veg does indeed seem to be very difficult for us to acquire. So we are open to your proposal. I have
Wonderful.
requested a skiff be made available to you.
Thank you.
Here are our terms."
Okay.
And with that,
Sure.
you see the runesmith hand him a scroll case that's about this big around and about that long.
Holy shit, that's a lot of terms.
One of the guards comes up, collects it, and brings it down and hands it to you. And it probably weighs about 3 pounds.
I'm gonna take it and... Is it sealed? Like...
It's got stoppers in each end, but it's not. It's actually a scroll case with the scroll inside.
Okay.
So it looks like you just pull one of the stoppers out and pull the scroll out.
So I unlike the last scroll, which we were forbidden from reading and we followed faithfully, these terms, I assume, are allowed for us to read as well as the Lowlanders.
I would think it's probably best that you apprise yourselves of our terms. It will obviously aid the negotiations.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Do we read it in front of him, or?
Now, or is that...
Whenever you feel fit.
All right. We'll just
The skiff
sit
has
then.
been made ready for you already.
Thank you.
We will be back with the response and hope to go on to prosperous returns for everybody.
Now, as you are indeed dwarf friends, we expect you to argue for very good, favourable terms on our behalf.
Of course we will.
Absolutely. We wouldn't want any side to feel cheated or unfairly treated.
No, quite, as long as we are equally treated more than they are.
Understood.
Now, what would you like from the armory to take as a representation of our good craft? At that point, you see Beecham, he's like, may I have a quick word?
With us or with him?
Oh, he's kind of looking at you.
Okay, sure, yeah. Excuse me, my lord.
He says, most of the lowlanders, as you saw, all had those particular basket-hilted swords, which they're all very skilled and trained to use. Do you think that warhammers and axes are going to be something that they're interested in? I completely agree with you about the heavy armor, of course.
The basket-hilted swords, what are they technically? I mean, are they technically long swords with just... I mean, I know what basket-hilts
And
are.
they're mostly basket-hilted claymores, so they're like...
Okay, claymores.
Kind of, yeah, but they're... I mean, you could say they're more like... It's actually more like not a claymore, a broadsword. Like a basket-hilted broadsword.
Okay. Honestly, they would be... You're right. They wouldn't really go for the war axes or the war hammers, but that doesn't mean these...
Doesn't mean that they might not want them as tools, though. Hammers for
like...
the blacksmiths and axes for chopping down trees and whatnot.
That's true. So we should ask for that. Because that will make their way of life much easier with a higher quality.
Okay, I just thought I'd mention it.
Okay, thank you, Beecham. So I'm going to turn to Borg and Ironbeard and say, we would prefer the warhammers and the axes. What would be good, and possibly the bastards, anything along the lines of a claymore or a sword, if that is something that you have in stock or store.
We have certain swords available.
So maybe an example of each of those three that we can show as...
We can do that. Very well, we'll have them brought to the skiff.
Which will be ready by tomorrow, I assume?
That's
tomorrow
ready now.
morning? Oh. Would you guys like to leave immediately or stay here?
I think we've spent many nights here. We should hurry on with this trade.
It is late if you'd understand that it may be more treacherous for you to travel down the steep mountain pass. Being unused to driving a skiff, as I'm sure you are, maybe you should wait till tomorrow.
Thoughts, guys? I mean, I hear you, Kia. It's just, who would want to drive the skiff during the night? Have to be someone who could see, right?
I can see fairly well, but I see your point. I suppose one more night won't be too bad.
Alright. So we'll stay one more night, my lord. Thank you. We'll leave first thing in the morning.
He says, and be sure as you're doing this on behalf of Cairnemoore that you let them know that the Borgand Ironbeard said to provide you with any necessary provisions for your journey to the south.
Of course, we appreciate it immensely.
Well, good. So we'll await your speedy return with that answer.
Yes, indeed.
Very well.
We'll be on our way.
Okay. Yep.
Just gonna back the fuck out again.
All right. Okie dokie. So yeah, you can get a good night's rest. You can eat your fill, drink your fill, whatever you want for, provisions from the tavern. You can absolutely procure a reasonable amount of. A couple of weeks worth or whatever you need.
Yeah, we'll send Beecham to do that shit.
Go, slave. Do it.
Go, my friend, with your magical gifts that we gave you.
Oh, yeah, you gave him a shitload of magical stuff, didn't you? You gave him a +3 magical dagger.
Yeah, we did.
You gave him... What else did you give him? The magical figurine, a +3 magical dagger. Wasn't there something else?
Wine?
And the wine.
You gave him a case of that Sidorian spiced wine. That was right. Okay, cool, yeah. Alrighty, so the following day, you are able to get your hands on the Dwarven skiff. So you've seen that. I mean, you guys have traveled on one before. It's pretty much just like a giant cart that has sled runners instead of wheels, and it is pulled by 2 huge mountain goats.
Nice.
Alrighty. Okay.
Let's
Are
get
you all ready
going.
to travel south, or?
I think we are.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right. Okay. So you head out the gate, get on the skiff. The skiff is already loaded up with blankets, a crate of provisions. Beecham carefully puts the last 3 bottles of his spiced wine up on the back of the skiff, and you guys are ready to travel. Alrighty. And southwards you descend. Who's driving the skiff?
I guess I will be.
You will be. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
Kia.
What's up? Handle animal or something? Ride?
Yes, animal handling. I was thinking animal husbandry for some reason. I don't.
I'm going to go with animal handling
Okay.
for the skiff because it is very much more an art form of actually managing the goats than it is. Because the problem is leaving here, as you remember, when you exit out of the gates, first of all, there's those massive stairs that you have to go down, which within itself is a challenge in a skiff, because obviously the weight wants to let it just go and zoom down there, but the goats are there, so you have to manage the goats. But then it's a pretty steep descent down those windy tunnels, at least until you get back down to the flat plateau. So, Kia, we're going to start off with an animal handling roll for you to make it effortlessly down the stairway, the mighty stairway.
Watch out, everybody else.
So is that everybody else is on the on the skiff? All right, this could be ugly, but 11.
Wow,
Okay, I was
that was
going to say
almost a
these.
14.
All right, so it's a pretty hairy ride down the stairs. Several times the goats get running and the skiff starts to slide to the left. And there are numerous times when you're kind of panicking that you may actually end up tipping off the side of the stairs because there's no, I mean, it's just sheer drop either side. But at the last minute, somehow you do manage to stop the runners running off and eventually make it down to the bottom of the stairway.
Ah,
Okay.
going to be a bumpy
Here,
ride.
by the time you're down at the bottom, Beecham is refusing to look. He's just kind of burying his face. All right. Let's go ahead and move you along a little bit here. And I'm going to switch these two. And then I'll put you guys up there. All right, let's move you onto that map. Okay, so yeah, by now you're at the bottom of the stairs and you're kind of going down that fairly slick passway. There's really nowhere to fall on here because to the left is cliff face, to the right is cliff face. You've already gone under the big, weird ice archway that you were so worried about before.
Okay.
Obviously you're making significantly faster travel on a skiff than you guys were on foot, especially going downhill. But it is steep. So Kia, you're going to give me another animal handling skill roll to navigate through the slippery slopes of the pass for the rest of the day.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Woo!
Pretty much you start to get the hang of it. As you're navigating through, other than maybe hitting the odd rock where there's a and you all bounce around a little bit. For the most part, Kia manages to navigate without grinding the runners along the side of the cliff face. And after many, many hours of travel, you've kind of gone down to that flat plateau. It's starting to get dark. Now, if you remember the plateau, there's mountain on one side and a sheer drop off the cliff face down as far as the eye can see on the other side. And it is beginning to get dark. If you guys wish to continue, you can do so. And Kia, you are going to have to make another animal handling check. Or
this
you
is
can
the
choose to
worst.
rest here if you wish. It's up to you guys.
We'll keep going for a while.
Yeah, make a little extra haste.
All right, okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
Alrighty. Okay, 10 is, as I said, that is your bare minimum. So, yep, you continue to you kind of continue going on. One of the goats stumbles, and the whole thing gets to the point where it is literally teetering on the very edge of the cliff. At one part, you guys are literally looking over the edge of the skiff, and it's a straight drop down. You can't even see the edge. Beecham is freaking out. He's like, for pity's sake, it's too dark for this. I know she can see very well in the dark, but who says the goats bloody well can? I think it's time to stop.
At that point, I'd be like, Beecham, you're right. Hold on,
yeah.
Stop. Like, this is good a place as any.
Well, let's get away from the cliff if you can, and
Well,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll get a good 50 feet away.
So you kind of, well, there is. I mean, yeah, the most you can really do, unless you want to continue, is to pull it over to the side of the mountain, which gives you about 3 to 4 feet clearance off the edge.
Oh, God. Alright. Okay. Good luck.
Hop off and start tending to the goats to see if they're actually okay or if they're shaken at all.
No, they're fine.
Okay.
Assuming, I mean, if you're capable of telling the mood of goats, they seem fairly at ease. As soon as you put a feed bag in front of them, they're just chowing down. They're quite happy.
All right, so let's set up shop here and rest a little bit.
Okay. All right. So you guys are going to rest on the cart, off the cart. What's the game plan? Fire or no fire?
There's enough room in the cart, right? I mean,
on the skiff, yeah, there's plenty of room for you guys to all sleep inside of it.
Okay. Let's try that.
Yeah. Because I mean, this is like, as I said, it is actually like a cart on runners. I mean, like a wagon on runners. So there is you can get inside the thing.
yeah. So that's
okay. So you guys are just going to climb on the inside and stay warm with blankets and not worry about fires and stuff. Alrighty. Let's just have a quick GM roll here. So close. Okay. All right. Well, the following morning comes. The sun comes up. It is pretty bloody cold, and once again, now you're out from the safety and shelter of the walls of Cairnemoore and those massive furnaces that kept it warm most of the time. You are now being reminded of just how miserable it is outside the walls of the city, and clearly you guys are having to suffer the effects of the cold, cold north winter winds once again.
ugh.
Boo. Alright.
Gonna continue on, I guess.
All right. Well, the next couple of days goes fairly uneventful. It's not as, I'm going to say by now that Kia's got enough of a handle on how to drive the skiff to at least only have to make dice rolls in precarious situations.
Okay.
The first of which will be when you guys make it. Go ahead and do a copy here. And I can just paste it right here. Move these guys out of here. And then I'll fix the size for you.
Oh, I remember where. Oh, God. Yeah. Where we fought the rock, we had to climb down.
You fought the
That's true.
rock,
The rock bird
Doing
creature.
the rock.
and he
John
tagged in John Cena. Dun. Sorry.
No, no, this.
That
this
rock.
was like
Yeah, I know
this
what
was
you
a cliff thing that we had to like kind of
Yes.
descend.
So once you get here,
Shit.
you get to this point, and there's a fairly steep descent down to the bottom, which isn't going to be really a major deal. But how the hell are you going to get it up that 100-foot drop?
Let's see.
I mean,
Nah.
you could lift the goats one at a time, can't you, Kia? And
Well, I can teleport the goats up. But how's this gonna work for when they're coming down to trade every time? We need a structure here where they can manipulate it every time.
Honestly, that will be something that they would probably have to deal with.
What if we really had to fight for this? Are they gonna see that and give up?
They're dwarves. I don't see that. Well, there's also this other way, right? Like, this part goes down, right?
Yes, indeed.
Is that
You
going
don't know
down?
what you guys don't know what's down that way. You've not traveled in that direction through there. You know the safe-ish path is to go along, but again, you're gonna have to figure a way to get the cart and the goats up there. Kia, you have give me another animal handling check, not for actually handling the animals on the skiff, but give me another roll. Okay,
Ooh.
yeah. So, Kia, you know, goats in general are incredibly sure-footed, especially mountain goats, like giant Himalayan mountain goats. So it's
Yeah.
very probable that they can clamber up the side of that steep cliff themselves.
Oh, forgot about that.
So the question isn't so much if you can get the goats up there, because that'll be easy enough. And it's 100-foot climb. You guys have got rope and stuff like that, so you can probably get up there. The challenge is going to be how are you going to get the skiff itself up that side of that cliff.
Okay.
So
We-
you guys might have to be a little bit creative on how to pull
How
that
much does the skiff and everything weigh? About
off. How much does the skiff
what do we
weigh?
say?
Probably about half. Because it has massive iron runners. It probably weighs about 600 pounds or more, plus the runners. So probably about 800 to 900 pounds at least. Probably more than that.
Yikes. Okay. Hey, Radovan, you have
Ye-
something. You can manipulate stone, can't you?
If I plan for it, but
Of
Not
course,
100
he's never
feet worth.
prepared.
Never prepared.
you try preparing for every fucking contingency with your spells. It's not easy.
I don't have
Uh,
spells. I just punch it. I'm always prepared for that.
And I don't even think that spell would work on 100 feet of distance. Look, if anything, we get the goats up there, we get ropes, and we bundle everything up and kind of like lift it all up so it's just the skiff we have to move. Right?
Right, that was my first thought. I'm just seeing if there's anything easier.
And
I
then
do
with
have telekinesis.
with the goats and us up there all pulling on the rope,
And the
Alright.
goat's helping.
right? Perhaps we can slide the skiff up?
We can try. And if that doesn't work, we'll have to figure out something else.
Alright, so let's first get up there.
Alright, I'm gonna cast Spider Climb on Radvan so he doesn't have to deal with it.
Okay. All right.
I forgot you had that spell.
I sure do.
Okay, I gotta wait for you. About 2,000 pounds. There you go.
2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds
Holy-
in weight.
Wait, what? The skiff?
Yeah. That's about what you're looking at.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, so Radovan can clamber up the 100-foot with spider climb with absolute ease.
This feels very weird. Okay, but
What about the? What do you want to do with the goats? Just someone lead them up, or pull them up when you get to the top? What's the game plan?
I'll carry the goat.
Marla's gonna carry a couple of goats. Come on, lads. One on each shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, we could try to guide them up there somehow.
Okay. Give me a concept on how you want to do that.
well,
I'm thinking.
well, they're leashed. Can't we just like take the leash from someone like me who's climbing and just pull them up? Kind of like
You know?
guide them up, like
Reasonable.
As you're climbing, you want to be pulling the goats like right behind you, or?
Yeah, I guess. Wouldn't that work?
Oh my god.
Put a harness
I guess
on
you
me.
are spider climbing, so.
Yeah, put a harness on me, and then I'll climb up like this, like I'm an animal, and they'll
Two
be attached to
goats
me.
hanging off of him on leashes.
Maybe, because they could climb up themselves, you said, so...
No, they can, as long as someone's guiding them in what direction you want them to go to. Yeah, that's...
I mean, you could just lightning bolt their ass so they run
There's
up.
probably easier ways, but I'll go ahead and say, as entertaining as it may be to watch Radovan climbing up on all fours like Spider Pig, and a short leash and two goats basically getting net yanked periodically to clamber up the side of the cliff. Absolutely, let's make that happen. Okay, so Radovan's at the top with goats.
There we go.
Things you'll never hear ever said again.
So I'm gonna find something that I could tie the goats to, just so they don't like wander off bleeding or whatever they do.
Okay.
And I have a rope. I'm gonna throw it down.
All right.
For some reason, I'm just reminded
It's a
of that
100-foot rope, so
that riddle with the goats and the lettuce and the.
And I'm
Fox.
just gonna shout down, start emptying the skiff and tying it to this, and I'll fucking pull them up.
You're gonna
Like,
you're gonna
not
pull
the
up what
skiff,
first?
but the items.
Okay,
like
so you
everything
want to
else.
tie the rope around the different items and drag.
Yeah,
The
I'll
necessary-
start wrapping
that's
the rope
fine.
around
I mean,
stuff.
everything you have is
hauling it.
easily. It might be harder to drag the crates up, but you know what? With all the blankets and things you've got, it'd be a lot easier. Just load everything into the blankets and pull those up or whatever. So that's not a problem. Beecham's a resourceful fellow, so that's what he's doing. He's taking all the food out of the crates, putting it in the blankets, folding the blankets up around the food, and then tying tying a knot around the tops of the blanket. So you're pulling up more like a big sack than you are a chest where the rope may easily untie itself.
I'm doing it slowly so it doesn't like bounce around.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
steady.
So, all right. You can get all of your provisions to the top. So now we have a large skiff, a sorceress, and a monk, and a whatever Beecham is.
So
An alcoholic.
tie the skiff with a bunch of rope, and you get your asses up here. We'll use the goats and ourselves and try to all collectively pull it.
I have a way better idea. We just tie the ropes, as you said, and once we're all up there, we get a rock elemental to pull it. Will they listen to me?
Well, if you summon it, it does what you tell it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're gonna tell a rock elemental to pull a skiff up? Okay.
They could
Put it this
pull
way, if
way
she can-
more
if she
weight,
can tell
way
a
more
rock
weight than
elemental
us.
to attack something, she can tell it to walk in a certain
Oh,
direction
hey,
with a
I-
rope tied around it for sure.
It just seems very funny to me to have a rock elemental with ropes going.
They're strong
Ingenuity
like
at its
fighters, right?
finest.
Yeah, no.
Um,
Let's get that slave elemental to do its our
Okay.
bidding.
All right, we'll make our way up there
Okay.
then.
Well, you guys go ahead and give me a climb check. Then those are those of you that are actually climbing.
All right. Well, my good rolls have run dry.
Okay, so Radovan's up here already.
Yeah. I'm also going to be listening for the bird.
Okay.
Oh, you're listening for the rock. Okay. Marlowe climbs up effortlessly. Kia, on the other
course.
hand, is having some major trouble.
No,
I'll
okay.
cast spider climb on myself after I fail.
Okay.
Like, screw this.
And we roll for Beecham. And he struggles a little, but no problem. He is up there. Okay.
He's a beast.
And then you want to summon a rock. Your rock elementals
Yes.
are considered huge, right?
They are huge.
So we're getting out of the way.
Yeah, y'all might want to move.
A rock elemental's so big.
All right, so you summon the massive rock elemental onto the edge of the
Yay!
cliff face. It barely
Give it a
fits.
I'm gonna tie the rope to it,
I just noticed that the
and I'll say, "Come here."
You're doing come here to a rock element. That's good.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So yeah, you're going to tie the rope to it and have it pull it up. Well, being that it is huge, it really has little to no trouble dragging that skiff up the side of the cliff face. So, yep, it is all pulled up. All in all, this whole fiasco probably took you no more than about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
The worst part of it is how friggin' cold it is doing all this in the freezing weather. But eventually you do have your skiff back up here. Your goats can be reattached.
To do so.
Once again, by the time you've got all that done, Rocky the Rock Elemental is gone off and done what he does. Okay, and you guys are ready to continue on your merry ways along the side of the mountains. Okay, another day or two passes, you travel along, no major issues. Eventually, as you've gone down the sides, you're getting closer to the points now where Radovan is beginning to recognize the area that at one point he was talking about.
And as I see it, I'm going to point to it. It's like it's nestled, so we can create defensive structures using the existing rock.
So basically, if you remember this area here, this is where you hid in amongst the crevices as the stone trolls wandered by. This right here is a massive, huge, big mound, ginormous of rock. But you do recall that round behind there was kind of a little alcove that you probably could utilize to build some kind of small outcrop or way station between here and Cairnemoore, and on the other side, the lowlands town of Cairnemoore. Okay. All right. So you guys can continue on your merry way.
Which we are.
Watching out for big baddies.
Okay. Go ahead
As
and
we
give
saw
me
them
a
in this
spot
area.
check then, Kia, if you're actually going to keep it, if you're,
Yes.
trying to be vigilant.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Here we go.
I'm just trying not to fall asleep because I don't want to get attacked by a tiger that's imaginary. While we're looking for
All
other
right.
stuff.
Kia.
Oh.
As you kind of like start heading into this little area here, you notice a few boulders and rocks running down the side of the cliff face to your left. Initially, you think to yourself, that's not uncommon. But then you think, like at the last second, you think you see some kind of dark shadow somewhere up on the edge of that cliff face. An odd, out-of-place shadow that shouldn't be there. You can't physically see what's causing the shadow, but what really upsets you is when the shadow moves out of sight. Obviously, it belongs to something big and something that moves under its own steam. What do you want to do?
Okay. With that in mind, I kind of kick the goats into high gear without saying anything. To see if we can hurry through this passageway.
Okay, I mean, this is quite a way.
Kick the goats into high gear.
And why not? Yep. All right. About that time, you suddenly hear barking and snarling
Oh, no.
from round the back of the
Ah!
area that Radovan was talking about earlier. You're suddenly aware of a small pack of winter wolves that seem to all be charging round the corner and giving chase to your skiff and everything upon it.
Okay.
Oh, they're gonna eat our goats.
Shit.
All right. Any change of plan, or you want to continue to like just try to outrun these
high
things.
gear, and I'll just say, does anyone want to switch with me? I could attack them from a distance.
I'm gonna grab the leash from Kia and
The
say,
leash?
Oh,
Put him on leashes?
"Oh, the goat reins, right?"
Okay.
Okay, all right. So you take over the goat reins, and you're like whipping the thing on. Okay,
And I move to the back of the cart.
all right.
Turn around, facing the wolves. Come here, doggies.
Okay, so yeah, Beecham's in the back, and he's like, "I think they're gaining on us."
Shoot. Alright. I fire some magic missiles off.
Okay, so you want to fire magic missiles. How many balls of blue glorious goodness do you have?
I have. Get to that spell real quick.
I have balls galore.
I have 5.
Okay,
So,
so
it's
one
4.
each, and the one at
Yeah.
and the lucky guy at the front's going to get 2.
Yeah, hoping it'll kind of scare them off. That's my last die.
All right, you start hurling your magic missiles one after the other.
20 doesn't
Roll.
count, just so you know.
I know.
Why does that say 15? Oh, because it rolled them all together. Okay.
Oh, 3, 2, 1, 1, 5. Or
So it's a 4, a 3, a 2, a 2, and a 4. So the first one takes 7. The next one takes 2. The next one takes 2, and the next one takes 4. All right. The balls of magical light blast into them. The one at the front kind of stumbles momentarily and snaps at the blue glowing ball of magic. But unfortunately, it doesn't do enough to stop these large, vicious wolves in their tracks. However, Radovan suddenly,
Oh God.
from the cliff on the right, a massive amount of boulders and rocks just suddenly starts dropping down directly in front of where your cart is. You, my friend, are going to have to make an emergency animal handling skill to stop the thing in its tracks so that the massive rocks do not smash down and pretty much pummel and bludgeon either the goats or the cart. The difficulty to stop these things, because you're going at full speed and you've got wolves chasing you down, your difficulty to stop these goats in their tracks so that they don't get crushed by the huge boulders that have come crashing down.
I will not be fucking responsible for more animal deaths.
Oh,
on this
absolutely
show.
you will. So if you 12 or higher, okay, you'll save the goats. No, sorry. 12 or higher, you'll save the goats. 10 or higher, you'll save the cart. Lower than 10, the cart itself is going to be under the rock.
So
it's all about how quickly
Kia
you can
passed
pull
me
those
the
things
leash.
in.
Kia passed me the leash, and I locked eyes with her. The reins, fuck you, James. The reins, and I had a flash of like, not today. So I am gonna use my inspiration, thinking
You're
of
going to
Kia,
use inspiration on a
entrusting
cart
me
roll.
with its leash, because my handle animal is +2. So yes, I'm using inspiration.
All right. Okay. Let's do it, man.
Little Radovan!
He rolls a 3. Okay, I will let you re-roll that with inspiration. Yes, we're playing 3.5, but ladies and gentlemen, possibly the best use of inspiration Radovan has ever had in his life, to the point that I actually believe that literally deserves a round of applause. Honestly, inspiration is one of the things that we really liked from 5e, so we stole it and gave it to 3.5. And we pretty much use it to allow a reroll or bonus successes. In this case, the reroll, I think, just saved your proverbial asses. So, yes. What did you actually roll? 18. Right.
An
Okay.
18, correct.
All right,
Yeah.
so Radovan suddenly yanks hard on the, what were they called? Reins.
Okay.
And brings the goats to a sliding halt. I want to basically, I'm going to need a balance check from the other three that are on the cart at the back. So Kia, give me a balance check. Okay, Marlo, no problem. She kind of rides it out like just a simple bump in the road. Kia manages to, she stumbles back several feet, but manages not to fall over. And we'll roll for Beecham. Oh, look at him, look. Beecham, like a boss, doesn't even bat an eyelid. So you don't all get slammed into the back of the coach. However, as that happens, emerging from the top of the cliff is a ginormous man who is about 18 foot tall. He is pristine white. He has a ginormous frosty beard. It looks like a giant Viking, to be honest. Bright blue skin. As you glare at him, as he kind of looks down with a humongous foul grin on his face, almost like deviously, and then his eyes kind of look up and away from you as you suddenly hear and more boulders and rocks begin to fall. As they drop down, you hear as the small wolves are crushed under a blast of boulders. Perhaps they're helping us, says Beecham. That would be awesome. And then he realizes, well, actually, they've just kind of blocked us in. And the huge shadow that Kia Liana saw at the top of the cliff face emerges from the edge as you see a second ginormous man wielding two axes, both of which you could only pick up in your dreams. The strongest dwarf may be able to hold one in two hands. This guy is holding one in each. As they both look down, the one with the horns on his helm just growls down deep, crouches low, and bellows down into the canyon, and it echoes up and down all around, the loudest voice you've ever heard, as you just hear him look. As he then begins to stomp down the side of the mountain with his two-handed axe, which is about the full length, almost, of your entire skiff. As he comes crashing down towards you, and that's the perfect place for us to leave it tonight. Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons & Dragons related. And of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also, guys, don't forget to keep up with all things How We Roll. Follow us on Twitter @HowWeRoll. Check out the website www.howweroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Shagget here. On How We Roll, I play Radovan Rainier, War Priest of St. Cuthbert, who just so happened to author a new academic book that's coming soon. It's titled Libido Rectification for the Required Propagation of Arconis' Depleted Men-at-Arms. Or more affectionately titled, Mandate Number 2, and You. You can follow me on Twitter @neb_convos for upcoming book excerpts. Just to get the hype going, push up the sales. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, I'm the Dragon Spooker, and I play Marlo Rayfell, monk and resident badass for How We Roll. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so using @DragonSpooker, or follow my Twitch channel, which I sometimes stream on, twitch.tv/TheDragonSpooker.
Hi, thanks for watching another episode of How We Roll. I am Jane Ivana, and this is my lovely cat, Norman, who really doesn't want to be here right now. You can follow me on Twitter @JaneOnTwitch with a 0. Shh, don't tell him, he doesn't like birds. No. I stream occasionally on twitch.tv/Jane Ivana, so you can find me there. And I guess that's all we got. You got something to say? Nope. Peace, suckers. Bye.